Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Role-playing system, start as Admiral Kizaru. Chapter 81. HMPH, what a good plan, old Loach, come and fight. Before Li Qi finished his words, his fist attacked Ao Miao like a cannonball. Then, the two fought again. On the human side, they were protected by Li Qi and suffered no casualties. At this time, they were looking at the battlefield with worry. Originally, they were so happy when they saw Li Zunzun win. But Li Zunzun was ambushed by a villain, and the situation on the battlefield turned to the Sea Clan. How could it be? How could Li Zunzun lose? The Sea Clan, they actually sneak attacked, no martial ethics. Such a terrifying power didn't affect us, there must have been a strong man to save the situation just now, but now is not the time to say these things. The Sea Clan has 4 more venerables again, this is difficult to deal with. Just when everyone was worried, a familiar figure rushed out of the sea. Everyone looked at Li Zunzun emerging from the sea and immediately gained confidence. However, Lin Wenqing revealed Lin Xiao's current state. You should be at the end of your strength now, Li Feiyu, do you think you can scare us like this? As he said this, the eyes of the Sea Clan masters no longer looked at Li Feiyu with fear. However, the human clan masters looked at Li Feiyu, who was barely holding on, with a worried look on his face. I don't know how you will respond to what I will do next. Lin Xiao talked freely while frantically urging his strength, and his majestic momentum finally reached the peak. What is he going to do? The Sea Clan masters felt something was wrong and stared at Lin Xiao intently. However, the next moment, Lin Xiao's actions surprised everyone present. Lin Xiao took off his mask and revealed a very ordinary look. It is hard to imagine that such a powerful sword master actually looks like this. Then, Lin Xiao blew himself up towards the Sea Clan masters in the astonished eyes of everyone. His expression was calm, and his relieved eyes revealed a hint of expectation for the future. I didn't expect you to choose to self-destruct, but we, the demon lords, are not vegetarians. With a loud bang, Lin Xiao's body turned into a huge ball of energy and exploded. The Sea Clan lords hurriedly used defensive measures, but were still shocked by the powerful impact and retreated again and again. The smoke and dust dissipated, and a deep pit appeared where Lin Xiao was originally, and seawater rushed in frantically. Li Zunzun. The human lords shouted in grief. They now understood that Li Zunzun went there with the intention of dying, in order to give everyone a chance of survival. The people in the distance looked at this sad scene and could not help but mourn for the death of Li Zunzun. Above the clouds, tears also flowed from Li Qi's eyes. For more than 300 years, countless human race masters have died in these years. But at this moment, he saw the fall of another human race strongman. The other party was determined to die and delay precious time for the human race. Ha ha ha, so stupid, choosing to self-destruct, you humans are so stupid, ha ha ha. Ao Miao couldn't help but taunt Li Qi. So I said, you are beasts, beasts can't understand human feelings. Li Qi's fists exuded a terrifying aura and waved towards Ao Miao. The battle on the clouds started again. On the battlefield of the venerables on the sea, the venerables of the human race came out of their sad emotions. After all, they couldn't live up to the expectations of the venerable Li, and there were the venerables of the Sea Clan in front of them. They needed to hold the other party back and wait for the reinforcements to arrive. But at this time, the 2 dragon kings who had just sunk to the bottom of the sea returned to the battlefield. Although the opponent's injuries had not fully recovered, this made the already disadvantageous situation worse. Zhong Lei and Chu Feng, the strongest among the venerables, both looked very ugly. If they can't stop all these venerables, the other side may want to massacre the human race in the rear. Ha ha ha, the self-explosion just now is useless in front of so many of our venerables. Now you can die. Lin Wenqing couldn't help laughing, and then the battle between the venerables started again. However, the Sea Clan did not let the extra 6 venerables join the battlefield, but asked them to massacre the human race along the coast. There should be tens of millions of people in these cities. Lin Wenqing was already very excited about the upcoming massacre. However, at this time, a strange sound reached their ears. Dong dong dong. They stopped and looked at the figure on the shore. This person was King who had just returned to the battlefield. Lin Wenqing suddenly realized at this time that King had been away since just now. Was he here? He looked at King with his arms crossed and expressionless face, and couldn't help feeling a sense of oppression. Is this King, the strongest man on earth? Just standing there is intimidating. But they are not vegetarians. They have 2 peak 9th level dragon kings and 4 ordinary 9th level dragon kings. Even King has to take this lineup seriously. Lin Wenqing tried to find a flaw on King's face. But the only response was the boom sound of the Emperor's engine. It seems that the other party still doesn't take them seriously. How arrogant, King. Lin Wenqing couldn't help thinking so. The other 5 sea monsters seemed to have connected with Lin Wenqing's thoughts. It was exactly the same as what he thought. King didn't take them seriously at all. So it's Venerable King. You are still so arrogant. Do you know, your arrogance will ruin yourself. Let's attack together. I don't believe King can take the attacks of so many demon lords. Even Yi Wuchen can't do it. Lin Wenqing encouraged the momentum of the 3 demon lords. Then, the 6 demon lords attacked King together. For a moment, there were lightning and thunder in the sky, flames were burning, earth spikes broke through the soil, and water guns sprayed powerful water. Various attacks intertwined together, forming a spectacular and chaotic scene. King still stood there quietly, looking at the attacks in the sky expressionlessly, as if all of this had nothing to do with him. And the human soldiers behind him did not have any fear or retreat at this moment. They looked forward, and the thin figure of King was full of admiration and trust in their hearts. Since Mr. King chose to do this, there must be his reasons. However, King was panicking at this time. He was just an ordinary person with the domineering color. How could he block the attack of the 9th level Demon King? But even so, he still used his strongest ultimate move in front of everyone. Then he let go of his hands and pointed his palms at the attack from the sky. Qigong Secret Purgatory Unparalleled Explosive Heat Wave Cannon. As King's words fell, all the attacks in the sky turned into bubbles and dissipated in front of King. And the 6 demon lords were knocked away by King's powerful blow, and smashed into the sea like cannonballs. The sea water was instantly stirred up into waves several feet high, as if it was a feast of turbulent waves. The waves rolled violently, with endless power and might, impacting everything around. The people behind King were all excited when they saw this scene. They could actually see King's attack at such a close distance. This is the first time I have seen the Venerable attack at such a close distance from me. It's so powerful, Venerable King. It's worthy of being Venerable King. He easily solved 6 demon lords of the same level. Too cool. What kind of powerful ability is this, so fast that we can't see it clearly? In the crowd, everyone sighed at King's horror. On the other side of the battlefield of the Venerables, they were busy fighting and had no spare energy to observe the situation on King's side. However, after hearing the cheers of the crowd, they also knew that the 6 demon lords must have been defeated by King. What a reliable man. On the battlefield above the clouds, Li Qi and Ao Miao were fighting fiercely. Unfortunately, they didn't see King's moves clearly because of the fierce battle just now. But judging from the power, it was really terrifying to knock 6 Venerables away at once. Maybe King has already stepped into their territory. Li Qi couldn't help thinking in his heart. Ao Miao, who was fighting with him, put King on the must-kill list at this moment. This guy seems to be more terrifying than that Li Feiyu. It doesn't understand why the human race has such a strong man. But fortunately, the other party doesn't seem to be a sword cultivator, not the primary target of that adult. Thinking of this, its eyes looked at the place where Yi Wuchen practiced. As long as it uses its trump card to get rid of Yi Wuchen later, the mission of the god will be completely completed. However, it is not clear whether King will stop it now. For it, there is one more variable on the battlefield. Obviously, Ao Miao has regarded King as a strong man of the same realm as him. However, King, he was not happy about releasing the Purgatory Invincible Wave Cannon at this time. Because it was not done by him. King looked at his hands with some doubts and began to doubt his life. Does he really have special abilities? However, only Lin Xiao, who was thousands of miles away, knew what happened just now. At the moment when King's Purgatory Invincible Heat Wave Cannon was launched, he called out the Yellow Ape clone. He resisted the attacks at the fastest speed and kicked the 6 demon lords into the sea again. The speed was so fast that the lords who were fighting could not observe it with full concentration and could not see it clearly. Therefore, everyone watched 6 demon lords being knocked away by King's invisible killing move. For a time, everyone's admiration for King reached its peak. Lin Xiao's King roleplaying template also showed that the roleplaying degree reached 100% at this time. The roleplaying template that reached 100% can summon characters, and their loyalty to themselves is 100. The most important thing is that this summoned character can actually brush up his reputation. This is so cool, finally I don't have to act awkwardly there. Lin Xiao looked at the countless reputations that had accumulated on the system panel, and at this time he had a bold idea. On the battlefield, when everyone was cheering and rejoicing for King, 2 figures jumped out of the sea. These were the 2 Dragon Kings. Their injuries were more serious at the moment, but fortunately they had the bodies of the Dragon Clan and could not die for the time being. They looked at King, who was motionless on the shore, and couldn't help sweating. This man was really too terrifying. He killed their 4 demon lords in a second with a casual blow. Thinking of this, the 2 Dragon Kings decisively handed over their trump cards. They took the magic medicine given by the gods, and then their breath surged and they returned to their peak. The 2 Dragon Kings felt the powerful force in their bodies and suddenly became confident. But they still didn't dare to attack King, but turned away, wanting to interfere with the battlefield of the Venerable. At this time, the battlefield of the Venerable was in full swing, and as long as they joined the situation, it would immediately be one-sided. Where do you want to go? Little loaches. A familiar voice came to the ears of the 2 Dragon Kings, and they looked at the white-clothed floating figure. Yi Wuchen. He actually broke through. The crowd below also exploded at this time. Look, it's Lord Sword Master. Lord Sword Master is here. The war is finally over now that Lord Sword Master is here. Why do I feel that Lord Sword Master's aura is even more terrifying? He is worthy of being Lord Sword Master. On the battlefield of the Venerables on the side, the Venerables were also delighted to see Yi Wuchen's arrival. They knew that the battle was about to end. Above the clouds, Li Qi and Ao Miao, who were fighting, also noticed this scene. Ha ha ha, your plan has failed now, old loach, since you are here, just bury this side. After Li Qi had no worries, he could finally show all his strength. Yi Wuchen. Ao Miao was immediately furious. How could this guy succeed in breaking through at this juncture? Then, the 2 began to fight more fiercely than before. On Yi Wuchen's side, he jumped lightly and blocked the way of the 2 Dragon Kings. The sword intent emanating from his body was stronger than before. After the 2 Dragon Kings felt Yi Wuchen's breath, they couldn't help but feel a little fear in their hearts. They understood that Yi Wuchen was no longer the same as before. Your magic medicine doesn't seem to give you enough courage, Yi Wuchen said lightly. Yi Wuchen, do you think I'm afraid of you? Ao Xin roared. Yi Wuchen's mouth corners slightly raised, and he waved the long sword in his hand, and a green sword energy slashed towards the 2 Dragon Kings. Seeing this, the 2 Dragon Kings were shocked and hurriedly dodged sideways. However, the sword energy was as fast as lightning, and they had no time to completely dodge. The sword energy passed through their bodies, leaving deep scars, and blood gushed out like a spring, dyeing a large area of the sky red. Is this your strength? It's really disappointing, Yi Wuchen sneered. Don't be too proud, Yi Wuchen, we are not afraid of you when we give you some points. That's right, don't think that you can fight us who have the power of gods just because you have broken through. Ao Xin and Ao Yan said this, and then their injuries were all recovered, and their aura returned to the peak again. At this moment, in addition to their own attribute power, they also have a golden mysterious power. Looking at this scene, Yi Wuchen couldn't help but look solemn and serious. Then, Yi Wuchen took the lead in drawing his sword and moving forward. Yi Wuchen's figure flashed, and he rushed towards the 2 dragons like a ghost, and his powerful sword intent drew a cold light in the air. Seeing this, the 2 Dragon Kings did not dodge or avoid, but went straight to meet him. Ao Xin waved his dragon claws, which had turned into metal, and slammed towards Yi Wuchen with a sharp wind. And Ao Yan shot left and right, with thunder in his left claw and fire in his right claw, attacking Yi Wuchen at the same time. Ao Xin's dragon claws were harder than before, and every swing brought great power and might, as if to tear the air apart. Its attack speed was extremely fast, dazzling and difficult to dodge. Ao Yan's thunder and fire were even more frightening. The thunder flashed and made crackling sounds, as if it could destroy everything. The flames burned fiercely, so hot that it seemed to burn everything to ashes. Yi Wuchen was not afraid at all. He swung the long sword in his hand rapidly, and the amazing sword energy actually dispersed all the attacks of the two dragons. The dragon claws of the two dragons collided with the sword of Yi Wuchen, making a crisp collision sound. Then, Yi Wuchen fought fiercely with the two dragons, with sword shadows interlaced and shining. He flexibly avoided Ao Shin's fierce attack, and at the same time used exquisite sword skills to dissolve Ao Yan's thunder and fire. You exposed a flaw, little loach. In the tense confrontation, Yi Wuchen seized Ao Shin's flaw and slashed at the opponent's dragon head with a sword. Ao Shin could not dodge this attack, so it chose to attack Yi Wuchen directly with its dragon claws. Yi Wuchen was a little surprised. He remembered correctly that these dragon kings were very afraid of death. Why would they want to exchange their lives with him? Fortunately, Yi Wuchen's body movements were flexible enough, and he easily dodged Ao Shin's claws. Then, a terrifying sword light bloomed on Ao Shin's body. Puff! Ao Shin, who was so aggressive just now, was actually cut off the head of his head by Yi Wuchen's sword. Cheers came from the crowd below. Lord Sword Master is so handsome, killing a dragon with one sword. Ah, you are worthy of being Lord Sword Master, the idol of all sword cultivators in the world. Lord Sword Master is mighty, Lord Sword Master is domineering. On the battlefield of the Venerables, the human Venerables seemed to be inspired by the momentum of the Sword Master. A sea monster Venerable had already been killed in a one-on-one duel. However, the Venerable also exhausted his spiritual power and recovered on the spot. Above the clouds, the battle between Ao Miao and Li Qi continued. Old Loach, look, your people have all been killed, ha ha ha. After Li Qi no longer had any worries, he became more and more courageous. The terrifying fist beat Ao Miao all over his body. Ao Miao suddenly spit out a few mouthfuls of blood, but his face did not show any anger for the death of his people. Instead, he had a meaningful smile. Did I hit you, stupid, old loach? Li Qi was a little puzzled by Ao Miao's abnormality, but don't think too much about it, just kill it first. Then, Li Qi's terrifying fist swung towards Ao Miao's body. Each of these punches had the power to kill a peak 9th level warrior. However, Ao Miao did not dodge or avoid such a terrifying fist, and let it hit him. Suddenly, its dragon scales were broken, blood splattered, and the clouds were dyed red. But at this moment, a golden power burst out from Ao Miao. This power is somewhat similar to the power of Ao Shin and Ao Yan just now. In an instant, Ao Miao's injuries were healed, and his breath gradually climbed to the peak. Li Qi looked at this scene, and his expression became solemn. Is this the power of the gods? On Yi Wuchen's side, while Ao Miao was resurrected with full blood, a new dragon head actually grew on the body of Ao Shin, who had just been killed by him. It was resurrected with full blood. Yi Wuchen was very surprised by this, although it was not very outrageous for a 9th level venerable to be beheaded and reborn. But the crystal core of this dragon was destroyed, how could it be beheaded and reborn? Is this related to the power of the gods they mentioned? Yi Wuchen was very confused, but they would only be resurrected once. He also wanted to know if this resurrection was unlimited. Then, he once again took up his long sword and fought with the two dragon kings. Yi Wuchen could easily kill the two dragon kings, but Zhonglei and Chu Feng couldn't do that. After Ao Sen and Ao Yao on their side also took the magic medicine, they were constantly beaten by the opponent's desperate fighting style. This desperate exchange of injuries has left the two of them with scars. And because the two dragons have an outrageous self-healing ability, the wounds they caused have all healed. Their self-healing ability is too strong. No matter what damage is caused, they can heal instantly. Quote, alas, I can't do anything. My space blade cut off the crystal core of this dragon, but it can still be reborn. Zhonglei and Chu Feng stood back to back. They were a little helpless in the face of this regeneration ability. However, at this moment, a dazzling light appeared in the sky. Speed is power. Have you ever experienced the speed of light kick? Quote, Yellow Ape dragged his voice slowly and instantly appeared behind the two dragon kings. He held his chin with his hand, curled his wretched mouth corners, and looked at the two dragon kings. Bang! Then, he raised his legs that turned into light elements, kicked the two dragon kings down with one kick, and sank into the sea. This scene shocked Zhang Lei and Chu Feng. Zhang Lei was shocked that their human race had so many hidden venerables. One king, one Li Feiyu, and the other was the man in front of him. How did they practice, and why were they stronger than each other? Chu Feng was shocked. He knew this yellow ape. Originally thought that the other party had just entered the 9th level and had a promising future, but he didn't expect that this was a ruthless person who could kick the dragon king like a ball. But he saw that the other party was so strong, so his granddaughter must be fine. It turned out to be fellow Taoist Huang. Thank you for saving me. Quote. Chu Feng bowed to him to express his gratitude. No, Mr. Chu, you have helped me a lot. Yellow Ape scratched his head and smiled. Zhang Lei was a little surprised to see this. Chu Feng, you actually knew such a strong man behind my back. However, just as the two were talking and laughing, the two dragon kings jumped out of the sea again. And all their injuries were healed, and their breath was restored to the peak. Human race, you dare to sneak attack me, I want you to die. You won't underestimate us because of the successful sneak attack. The two dragons didn't give the three a chance to breathe, and directly stepped forward to launch a desperate attack. Zhang Lei and Chu Feng were like facing a great enemy, and they were ready to fight in an instant. Yellow Ape on the side was still careless. You two have a terrifying self-healing ability like a monster, it's really scary. While speaking, Yellow Ape waved his hand helplessly. Zhang Lei and Chu Feng looked at Huang Yuan's appearance, and their mouths twitched slightly. These were two peak 9th order dragon kings, is it really okay to be so careless? However, before the two could react, a dazzling light condensed on Huang Yuan's finger, and the light was as hot and dazzling as the sun. He pointed his finger at one of the dragon kings, and the light flew away like a meteor, with the power of destroying the world, and went straight to the dragon king. The light hit Ao Sen, causing a huge explosion. Ao Sen screamed, flew backwards, and sank into the sea. Seeing this, Ao Yao became even more angry, and it opened its bloody mouth and pounced on Huang Yuan. Don't be so anxious, the next one is you, little sea snake. Huang Yuan's figure flashed and disappeared on the spot. Bang! The next moment, he appeared behind Ao Yao and kicked it in the abdomen. Ao Yao screamed, and the whole person flew out like a cannonball, falling straight into the sea. Huge splashes of water appeared on the sea surface, forming a deep whirlpool. Even if Zhang Lei and Chu Feng watched the scene of Huang Yuan killing two dragons in seconds again, they were still full of shock. Who would have thought that an uncle who looked lazy and wretched could kill the two dragon kings standing at the top of the Sea Clan in 2 moves? I still misjudged him. Why did he only give him a deputy director? He came directly to sit in his position and be the dean. Chu Feng couldn't help thinking so in his heart. On the other side, Yi Wuchen, who was fighting fiercely with two dragons, was also sighing that there were so many hidden strong men in their human race. It seems that there are too many termites in the Federation, and they have to clean them up after this war. In the crowd below, everyone was also discussing Huang Yuan who had just joined the battlefield. Why is there another venerable who is not recorded in the Federation? The Federation is so terrifying, hiding so many strong men. I have some impression of this big man. He seems to be the instructor of the Magic City Academy. Ah, instructor. A teacher who kicks a dragon king with 1 foot. Are you still short of students? So scary, so scary, so scary, kicking a sea dragon king with 1 foot, the big man is so handsome. On the cloud layer, Li Qi, who had just punched Ao Miao's head, naturally noticed the changes in the battlefield below. He was sighing like Yi Wuchen at this time. How come their human race has so many trump cards, so many peak 9th level strong men? But why don't they know anything about it? It seems that he has become stupid from practicing normally. After the war is over, he will pay more attention to the affairs of the Federation. However, Ao Miao, who had just grown a head and was reborn in front of him, was angry at this moment. How many times has this happened? How many times has it forced the human race into a desperate situation, but every time there is an unknown human strong man to take action. This Li Qi is so abominable, Lao Lu, hiding so many human masters. Li Laogui, These are all your tricks. You have known that we have undercovers in the Federation, so you hide so many human masters. Ah, yes, all my tricks, and Yi Wuchen also did it. Li Qi was very confused, but he still pretended to admit it to deceive the other party. Ao Miao suddenly became even more angry. It turned out that the other party had been playing with it since the beginning of the war. Deliberately reveal some flaws to it, and then let the prepared human masters take action. What a good calculation. It was completely kept in the dark by the other party. Ao Miao became more and more angry as he thought about it. It is the spokesperson of the gods, the Dragon King in the sea, how could it have suffered such grievances? Then, its breath suddenly rose like a volcanic eruption, and instantly expanded to the peak, as if it was going to break through the clouds. The powerful force stirred in the air, forming an invisible pressure, which made people feel awe. Li Qi instantly realized its purpose. The other party has the ability of immortality, it is going to self-destruct. Then, Li Qi hurried forward to stop it. Although he can definitely survive the aftermath of the explosion, the millions of people along the coast cannot. He must find a way to stop it. On the battlefield below, the 4 Dragon Kings seemed to have heard the orders of their own Dragon Emperor. They also squeezed their spiritual power to prepare for self-destruction. Huang Yuan, Yi Wuchen and others also wanted to step forward to stop it at this time, but the other party's terrible ability of immortality made it impossible for them to stop the 4 Dragon Kings from self-destructing. For this, Yi Wuchen felt very guilty. Is he unable to protect the residents along the coast this time? If they succeed in self-destructing, not only the coastal areas, but also many inland cities will be affected. The casualties will be at least more than 100 million. However, just as everyone's venerable when the aftermath of the explosion was calmed down, something unexpected happened. The 4 Dragon Kings actually stopped self-destructing. Then, they turned to the sea tribes and said, "We declare together that this war is over. You all evacuate." This statement caused some dissatisfaction among the sea tribes. They didn't understand, even if the appearance of the human race's strongman was somewhat unexpected. But these 4 Dragon Kings have immortality given by the gods, and it is only a matter of time to win this battle. Why should we evacuate and give the human race a chance to breathe? Sir, why should we evacuate? We have the advantage. Yes, sir, we can obviously land on land soon. Sir, we can't withdraw, sir. Are you ants qualified to teach me how to do things? Do you think our decision is the kind that can be easily changed? Ao Yan, one of the 4 Dragon Kings, immediately looked at the sea tribes who complained the most fiercely in the sea army. With a glance, they all turned into blood mist. The sea tribes also settled down at this time and began to withdraw as the 4 Dragon Kings said. The human race did not stop the evacuation of the sea tribes. Because for them, the sea tribes are like fish in water in the sea, and this kind of battlefield will make them more disadvantaged. The venerables flying in the sky did not move at this moment. After all, the 4 Dragon Kings' desire to self-destruct was too scary, and the key was that they could be reborn infinitely. Therefore, they could only let these sea tribes leave. Above the clouds, the battlefield between Li Qi and Ao Miao. Just now, Ao Miao was like a different person after reaching the critical point of self-destruction. He immediately told Li Qi not to stop it, it wanted to leave. In this regard, Li Qi naturally did not want to let the other party leave like this, but there was no way. Their strange power of immortality was too terrible. He had just killed Ao Miao more than a dozen times, and the other party could be resurrected with full blood every time. Li Qi was not sure whether this ability was infinite, but he knew that it would definitely be disadvantageous for them to continue fighting like this. Then, after confirming that all the sea people had left, he appeared in the sky and spoke to everyone. This war is over. Everyone had different expressions when they heard this. Some people cried sadly because their family members died in the war, and their eyes were full of pain and despair. Some people survived the disaster, and their eyes flashed with gratitude for life. Others had unrevenged hatred, and their eyes were full of hatred for the sea people. But no matter what, this war that went down in history ended here. The cruelty and destructive power of the war made people feel heartbroken, countless lives disappeared in the flames of war, and families broke up. However, it was these brave and fearless warriors who defended their beliefs, homes and countries with blood and sweat. Their dedication and sacrifice will be recorded in history forever, and they will become heroes admired by future generations. After that, the soldiers on the front line were busy cleaning up and dealing with the aftermath of the battlefield. They raced against time to clean up the debris and corpses on the battlefield to ensure that there were no hidden dangers left. At the same time, they also actively treated the wounded and sent the injured soldiers to the rear for treatment. Everyone went all out and tried their best to help those comrades in need. In the other side of the venerable conference room, all the venerables who participated in this battle were waiting for Li Qi's arrival here. What, you said Li Feiyu blew himself up? Yi Wuchen was shocked when he heard the news, and his heart was full of anger. This was the only Taoist friend in the Federation who could discuss Taoism with him, and he died like this. At the same time, he also felt a little regretful and self-blame. If he had come earlier, the other party might not have died. Later, Yi Wuchen learned that the murderer had been killed by King. He immediately came to King's seat and expressed his gratitude to him. Thank you, Venerable King, for avenging my best friend. I, Yi Wuchen, owe you a favor. King nodded, indicating that this was what he should do, but he still agreed to the favor. Although it's not good to say this now, King, I would like to find time to spar with you later, okay? Yi Wuchen looked at King's face and for some reason he was full of fighting spirit. He could feel that the other party's strength was definitely not inferior to his. Of course, if there is time, let's spar, King said calmly. But in fact, he was panicking in his heart. It's over. What should I do? Why does such a strong sword master want to spar with me? I should be able to avoid it. Seeing that he agreed so readily, Yi Wuchen returned to his seat immediately. The other venerables on the side were looking forward to the battle between the two. After all, it's rare for such strong people to spar with each other. If they go to watch, they may be able to feel something. On the other side, Kizaru, who was eating miso ramen in the conference room, was harassed by Isabeline. How about it, come and have a child with me. You must also have a light attribute above class A, and the child we have must have a very terrifying talent. What do you think? For this, I can let the entire British Empire be my dowry. At that time, you will be the king and I will be your queen. Isabeline said softly in her charming voice. Miss Issa, you are really a great beauty, but it's a pity that I am already very old and not very interested in these. Please go back, Miss Issa. Kizaru slurped a mouthful of noodles and politely rejected the other party. At this time, Isabeline began to doubt her charm. Whether it was Li Feiyu or the person in front of her, why did they reject her? But she has never had a husband so far, and is known as the most beautiful woman in the British Empire. Why did she run into obstacles everywhere here? But she thought that this Kizaru had a very terrifying light attribute ability, and she had to find a way to have a child with him. There was no need to rush now, anyway, he would join the Federation later, and she would have many opportunities to contact him. She didn't believe that she couldn't conquer this guy. The venerables who admired Isabeline were heartbroken when they saw this scene. Their Miss Isabeline was so humble in front of Kizaru. Sure enough, do women admire strong men? In this regard, they could only be heartbroken alone, and they could not have the slightest hatred for the powerful Kizaru. After that, not long after, Li Qi finally came to preside over the meeting. He took out the casualty statistics of this battle and some other information and gave them to the venerables to read. Li Qi looked at the expressions of the people who were reading the materials, coughed lightly and said, "Everyone, the losses in this battle are more serious than we expected. We are at a great disadvantage in low-end combat power, so I decided to set up a genius training plan to gather all the geniuses of the human race. What do you decide?" The venerables looked at each other and agreed. Okay, since everyone agrees, let's discuss the issue of resources needed to train geniuses. The Lin family was invaded by the Sea clan this time. Now all the property of the Lin family has been confiscated and used to train human geniuses. But this resource is still not enough, what do you think? Li Qi looked at the venerables with a smile. The venerables understood what the other party meant, which was nothing more than wanting them to provide resources. Under pressure from the other party, the remaining three major families stood up and expressed their willingness to provide a large amount of resources. I, Huang Wuling, am willing to provide funding on behalf of the Huang family. The same goes for my Nangong family. My Wu family also agrees. Li Qi was very satisfied with this. With the investment from these three major families, there would be no problem. Okay, thank you for your support. Don't worry, I will naturally give you some extra quotas for the resources provided by your families. When the people from the three major families heard Li Qi's words, their painful faces also improved a little. Next, I announce the two new members of the Federation, King and Huang Yuan. Let us welcome them. Afterwards, Li Qi personally gave Huang Yuan and King the 9-color token of the Venerable. Everyone watched this scene and secretly remembered the appearance of these two people. They didn't necessarily have to win them over. But they must go back and tell the younger generations at home not to offend each other. After all, the combat power of these two people was obvious to all before, and they all fought against the Dragon King at the peak of the 9th level. Such a terrifying strong man, they don't want to offend at all. Hello everyone, my name is Huang Yuan, a flash man with light attributes supernatural powers, please give me more advice. Quote. Kizaru still spoke slowly, and did not forget to sip the noodles in his hand. King on the side seemed more serious. He stood up with his hands on his chest, and spoke with a little pressure. I am King, an ordinary person. My strength is relatively weak. Please give me more advice. When these words came out, everyone couldn't help but feel a little scared. The strongest man on the surface of the earth actually said that he was weak. He was too humble. I didn't expect that the other party was so powerful and could realize his insignificance. What a terrifying man. Li Qi couldn't help but look up to King again. Before, he thought that King and himself were strong men of the same level, but now he seemed unworthy. King is much stronger than himself, and there are so many truths in his words alone. Looking at the way everyone was thinking, King thought he had messed up. He continued, I'm really just an ordinary person. You have to believe me, really. Quote. No need to say, King, I already know your realm. It seems that you are much stronger than I thought. Realizing your own insignificance is the most powerful performance. Have you entered that realm, King? Li Qi was convinced by King's words. He was sure that the other party had really entered that realm. In this case, even if the god wanted to attack the human race, he would have to think twice. Seeing Li Qi praising King so much, the venerables couldn't help but look at King with admiration. King was a little scared by being stared at. He was a little puzzled. He was just telling the truth. Why did it turn out like this? In the deep sea, 5 dragons were holding a meeting. I know you may be a little confused about my withdrawal this time. I tell you, this is the order of the Lord God. Ao Miao saw the 4 dragon kings looking at him with some doubts and began to explain. As for the reason why the gods did this, you don't need to know. In addition, although we suffered heavy casualties this time and did not occupy the territory, we found out the hidden combat power of the human race and successfully killed the new sword cultivator Li Feiyu, so it is not considered a failure. Then, what I want to say now is that in the human race, except for Li Qi and Yi Wuchen, who are now beyond the 9th level extreme realm, the newly appeared Huang Yuan and King on the battlefield this time have also entered the extreme realm. Ao Miao continued with a serious face. The other 4 dragon kings were shocked when they heard the extreme realm. How could these 2 human races who appeared for the first time also be in the extreme realm? Lord Dragon Emperor, is this true? Are those 2 also in the 9th level extreme realm? Ao Xin could not accept this reality. After all, the 9th level extreme realm is not something that ordinary people can break through. The extreme realm, as the name suggests, is the limit of this realm. To achieve this, you need to continuously compress your spiritual power and improve your physical strength to reach the peak without breaking through the realm. The combat power of the Tianjiao who breaks through in this way will be far superior to that of the same level. To do this, it seems simple, but it is actually very difficult. Not only do you need to have abundant natural materials and treasures to assist, but you also need to have very strong talents. And the 5 dragons are all outstanding Tianjiao in the tribe. But even with the assistance of massive resources, only Ao Miao among them successfully broke through the extreme realm. Such a precious extreme realm, it can't believe how so many were born on a planet with scarce resources and just revived spiritual energy. The other 3 dragon kings also had the same expression as Ao Xin. Although they had seen the strength of Huang Yuan and King before, they still didn't think that the other party had entered the extreme realm. After all, the resources and talents needed to reach the extreme realm are indispensable. Yi Wuchen and Li Qi used up all the resources of the Federation, and they had to borrow a lot from the 4 major families before they barely broke through. And these 2 people had no information in the Federation. Even if they had good talents, where would they get the resources to break through the extreme realm? I know this is incredible to you, but this is the fact. After all, although the Blue Star, where the spiritual energy has just revived, does not have so many resources, there are some in the secret realm. Don't forget that the number of secret realms on this planet is far beyond our imagination. Ao Miao began to analyze where the resources needed for the 2 to break through came from. The 4 dragons had to believe it at this time, because this was the fact. They began to regret why they did not conquer the human race when they first came to this planet, and went to conquer the ocean. When they occupied the entire ocean, the Sword Master and the Fist Master on land were already famous. At that time, the human race also became an enemy almost on par with them. And now, if it weren't for the power of that god, they might have been killed by the human race. Such a gap made them all a little broken-hearted. Cheer up, the 4 of you. Although the human race now has 4 extreme masters, don't forget that we have gods behind us. The Lord God has given me new instructions and also bestowed some treasures. And the Lord God's instructions are: coastal front. After a few days of cleaning, the front line also calmed down. In these few days, the entire sea area was unusually quiet, and no sea creature dared to approach the sea area 10 miles from the front line. This sea area seemed to have become a forbidden area. In the meeting room of the Venerables, only 1 Venerable was left to observe the front line for a while, and the rest of the Venerables left one after another. After a few days, a memorial service was held in the Magic City for these martyrs who died on the battlefield. And the first one among them was the only Venerable who died in this battle, Li Feiyu. The memorial service was solemn and dignified. People mourned for the heroic sacrifice with grief. Li Feiyu's deeds were widely praised. He sacrificed himself to buy time and delayed the arrival of King and Yi Wuchen. Lin Luoyu was also watching all this in the crowd. When she first learned of Li Feiyu's death, she was so panicked and cried bitterly. Fortunately, an avatar of Lin Xiao appeared and told her that Lin Xiao was not dead, so she cheered up. Because her public identity was Li Feiyu's apprentice, she still pretended to cry for a long time at the memorial service. Even Yi Wuchen came to comfort her. However, this also completely confirmed the truth of Li Feiyu's death, and Lin Xiao's vest was completely offline. However, where some people are sad, others are happy. The Nangong family at the memorial service and the Venerable who was frightened by Li Feiyu's sword drawing before were very happy at the moment. After all, who wouldn't be happy when the enemy died? Although Li Feiyu has publicly forgiven the Nangong family, there is still a gap. It is most beneficial for them if the other party dies. And the Venerable who had a conflict with Li Feiyu before. Li Feiyu's behavior made him lose face in front of the Venerables, and he didn't intend to stop there. He also wanted to retaliate against those who were related to Li Feiyu. He looked at Lin Luoyu, who was mourning in black, and had a plan in his heart. Although the other party was a student of the Magic City College, he was the most noble 9th-level Venerable in the Federation. Can't he touch a student? After that, the memorial service for the martyrs lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. People left here, but the monument to the martyrs remained here forever. In the Magic City Academy. After Huang Yuan joined the Federation because of his outstanding performance on the battlefield, Chu Feng wanted to give him the position of dean. But Huang Yuan refused. After all, he still wanted to slack off, and didn't want to be the dean and take care of so many things. So he was promoted to the position of vice dean. At this moment, he was leisurely eating bananas in the office. But at this moment, an unexpected person appeared. Mu Shui, the director of the Department of Light, came to him in person. Please forgive me, Your Excellency. This is my apology. Mu Shui also lowered her noble head at this moment. As soon as she entered Huang Yuan's office, she knelt on the ground with a space ring in her hand. The reason why she was so humble was because her father gave her a death order. Take half of the Mu family's property to seek forgiveness from the other party. If the other party does not forgive, she will be expelled from the Mu family and handed over to the other party for disposal. When she heard this, it seemed as if the sky was about to fall. She actually offended a venerable. It was really a sin that deserved death. Now this was the only way to beg for forgiveness from the other party. Thinking of this, she lowered her head even deeper. Okay, I forgive you, you can leave after you leave the apology. We didn't have any deep hatred. Huang Yuan stood up and stretched, then continued to eat bananas while watching the computer. Mu Shui was also relieved to hear this. After leaving the apology, she kowtowed a few more times before turning around and leaving. After the memorial service for the martyrs, people in Magic City began to discuss the war. Do you know, I was at the scene. It was so cool that Lord Zizhu killed 6 Sea Clan lords in seconds. Yes, and then Lord King suppressed 4 lords alone. He was so domineering. Lord King did not move, and the 4 Sea Clan monster lords did not dare to move. Then do you know, Lord King once flew into the sky with a bomb that could blow up the solar system, and then threw the bomb into a black hole. Then he traveled back in time and shot down all the meteorites that were about to fall to the earth, so that humans existed. Almost all mythological stories hide traces of King's birth. Lord King once kicked the moon as a sandbag, leaving huge holes on the moon. Is this true? Rumors about Lord King. It must be true. Lord King is an existence that even Lord Quan Zun is ashamed of. Unfortunately, Lord King is too humble. He also stated on the federal website that this was not done by him. King, who was surfing the internet, was dumbfounded by the news. Why the more he explained, the more misunderstandings there were. Now he didn't know how he became the first person in the Federation. The statement issued by the Fist Master himself admitted that he was inferior to King. But he was really just an ordinary person. King was a little distressed, afraid that he would be exposed one day. On the other side, the Yumikawa family in the island country, the once glorious Yumikawa family, has now become a ruin, and the former glory is no longer there. Broken windows, collapsed walls and rubble can be seen in the ruins. The once magnificent building is now only in ruins. A tall dragon shadow stood in the ruins, and its black shadow soldiers and evil dragon minions were slaughtering the people of the Yumikawa family. Dragon, you will be killed by those adults, ah. Bagayulu, you will definitely pay the price. Dragon, our venerable will avenge us. Ah, don't kill me, I am willing to submit to the adults. The people of the Miquan family wailed. After all, the cultivation of the black shadow soldiers and minions was not low, the highest was also the 7th level, which was enough to clean up the battlefield. Your people are being slaughtered, but you are still confronting me here, it's ridiculous, you ants. The Holy Lord jokingly mocked the 5 sub-9th level who confronted him. And these 5 people still did not intend to attack the Holy Lord at this time, they surrounded the Holy Lord. Ignore the taunts of this evil dragon. It can regenerate infinitely, and it can become stronger every time it regenerates. It has grown from the early 8th stage when it first arrived to the late 8th stage now. Indeed, at this level, we can't suppress it alone, and we can't let it continue to grow. Seal it, but the seal we just made is invalid, and we need to wait for the return of the Venerable Lord. Keep delaying time. When the Venerable Lord returns, our mission will be successfully completed. The 5 people of the Miquan family secretly communicated and planned, they wanted to delay time. The other party's massacre in the low-level battlefield could not shake them at all. However, what they didn't know was that the Holy Lord was also waiting at this moment. He was waiting for the performance level to rise, and those killed by the shadow soldiers and the demon minions also counted as performance levels. After a while, the Holy Lord's performance level finally broke through the late 8th stage, and the peak of the 8th stage was broken through like this. With the breakthrough of the realm, the Holy Lord did not hide his own aura. Okay, you can go die, the entertainment show is over. The 5 people looked at this scene with their mouths wide open. How is it possible? It obviously didn't regenerate, so why did it break through? The 5 of them thought quickly, and then looked at the black shadow soldiers and demon minions who were slaughtering. Could it be that if its subordinates killed people, it would become stronger? What kind of horrible monster is this? How could it have such a weird ability? Breaking through cultivation is like drinking water. Don't be afraid, it has only broken through the peak of the 8th level. Don't forget, we are 5 sub-venerables. Killing it is like killing a dog. Besides, the venerable is on the way back. We will win. The leader of the five encouraged the four people. The Holy Lord showed a playful smile. He decided to give these people some hope, and then crush them hard. You were right. I just broke through the peak of the 8th level. It is definitely not the opponent of the 5 of you sub-honored ones. Quote. Hearing the words of the Holy Lord, the 5 people breathed a sigh of relief, and their fighting spirit was rekindled in their hearts. Let's go together and kill him. The leader shouted and rushed forward first. They realized that they could not let the other party break through any further. The 5 people stepped forward one after another, and they displayed their own unique skills, shining brightly for a while, and their momentum was amazing. The Holy Lord stood still, letting these attacks hit him without dodging or avoiding. He was like a cat playing with mice, enjoying the fear and despair of the enemy. Puff! A series of attacks fell on the Holy Lord like a storm, and each attack contained endless power and might. These attacks were like shells, hitting the Holy Lord hard, making his body full of holes. But in an instant, all these wounds healed, and the Holy Lord's breath did not change from beginning to end. It's my turn, little mice. Quote. Before he finished speaking, the Holy Lord disappeared in a flash. The other 4 people saw this and their faces changed drastically. They didn't expect that the evil dragon's recovery ability could heal even fatal injuries instantly. The Holy Lord's figure instantly appeared behind the 5 people, grabbing 2 people with one hand and smashing them to the ground. Bang! Then, he opened his mouth and a ball of blazing flames spurted out of his mouth. The ball of flame was like a fire dragon, and it instantly pounced on one of them. The man was hit by the sudden flame, and his body suddenly burned up, and he let out a shrill scream. At the same time, his eyes flashed with dazzling light. 2 red lasers shot out from his eyes and hit another person accurately. After the man was hit by the laser, 2 big holes appeared on his body and blood gushed out. And the last man was terrified. He didn't know why he was floating in the air, and then he smashed into the ruins. In less than a minute, the Holy Lord killed 5 people in seconds. However, these 5 people were not completely dead. Not long after, they stood up tremblingly. How about it, little bugs, do you like my entertainment performance? They looked at the mocking Holy Lord, and fear had already appeared in their hearts. This is a demon, this is a real demon. However, at this moment, a familiar voice came from the 5 people. It's just a little snake like this, is it necessary for you to beat it like this? Quote. The man who came was a fat man, his body was like a huge meatball. His face was as round as a ball, and his double chin was obviously hanging on his neck. His eyes were squeezed into 2 thin slits by the fat, but they still revealed a hint of cunning and shrewdness. This man was the only venerable of the Miquan family, Miquan Nei. Fat man, who are you calling a little snake? I am a noble dragon, I am the Holy Lord. The Holy Lord was completely enraged by the other party's words. He flashed and rushed towards the other party like lightning in an instant. In response, Miquan Nei stretched out his palm and slapped the charging Saint Lord. Bang! The Saint Lord was knocked out by this powerful force and fell heavily into the ruins beside him. The 5 people watching the battle on the side breathed a sigh of relief and looked at their own venerable with joy. He is worthy of being the venerable Lord, who can easily solve such a terrifying monster. Saint Lord, Dragon, I haven't heard of it. Anyway, they are just ants. Miquan Nei sneered disdainfully. In his opinion, this is just an 8th level monster, and he can easily kill it with a slap. Dead fat pig, you dare to insult my identity as a dragon, die. The Saint Lord quickly got up from the ruins without any injuries on his body. Then, it opened its bloody mouth and raging flames gushed towards Miquan Nei. Miquan Nei slapped the flames with a slap and dispersed it. Then, he condensed his eyes, clenched his fist, and punched the Saint Lord's tall body fiercely. This punch was like a meteor across the night sky, so fast that it was almost impossible to see its trajectory. The air even produced a brief explosion sound because of this swift blow, and the surrounding dust was also stirred up. The Saint Lord felt the terrifying power contained in this punch. This 9th level true meaning is really shameless. Boom! The Saint Lord was blown away by a punch again and fell heavily into the ruins. A big hole was also punched out of its huge body by this punch. It should be dead now, you ignorant little snake. Yumikawa Nei came to the Saint Lord and wanted to confirm whether the other party was alive or dead. It should be you who died, you dead fat pig. The big hole on the Saint Lord's body instantly recovered as before, and then it shot a terrifying laser beam at the other party from its scarlet eyes. Swish! Yumikawa Naichi sensed the attack and tried to block it with his palm. Ah, you made me bleed, little snake. Yumikawa Naichi looked at the small hole in his palm shot by the laser in astonishment, and blood flowed out like it was free. This made him completely angry. An ant-like monster actually hurt him. Then, he released his own 9th level venerable aura without reservation, and the powerful power of true meaning swept across the battlefield. The stones in the surrounding ruins were crushed into powder by this pressure, and those shadow soldiers and demon minions died or were disabled. The 5 sub-9th level who survived under the Holy Lord before also fled hurriedly at this moment. Run, the Venerable Lord is serious. We can't get involved here. I didn't expect this monster to be so terrifying that it could make the Venerable Lord take real action. HMPH, it doesn't matter if it's terrifying. It's nothing but a chicken and a dog in front of the Venerable Lord. What are you barking about, you fat pig? The Holy Lord seemed unaffected by the pressure. It quickly stepped forward. Its sharp claws flashing with cold light grabbed the extremely fat body of Mikwon Nei fiercely like lightning. Puff! 5 deep blood marks immediately appeared on Mikwon Nei's body, and blood gushed out of them. Ah! Mikwon Nei screamed in pain. He looked at his wound in disbelief. He never thought that this little snake could easily break through his defense. The Holy Lord didn't give the other party a chance to breathe. He opened his mouth and a stream of flames sprayed out. Mikwon Nei dodged, but the flames still burned his hair, emitting an unpleasant burning smell. He was furious and used all his strength. The terrifying power gathered in his fist and hit the Holy Lord. However, the Holy Lord flexibly avoided his attack and swung his tail at the same time, knocking Mikwon Nei to the ground. As all you know how to say harsh words. Dead fat pig. The Holy Lord looked at Mikwon Nei on the ground with disdain. Baga wild deer, I was just careless for a moment, do you really think you can fight with me as a venerable? Mikwon Nei quickly got up. Although his injuries were not completely healed, they were almost recovered. Then, he ran towards the Holy Lord like a cannonball. The terrifying fists fell like raindrops. The Holy Lord was not willing to be outdone and used the power of the bull spell to fight Mikwon Nei. The two fought evenly at first, but after the other used the power of the true meaning, the Holy Lord was knocked away. I said, you can't be my opponent at all. You are just relying on your amazing regeneration ability to survive. Mikwon pressed the Holy Lord step by step, and the Holy Lord was also suppressed during this period. Beat. But it was not a one-sided beating. The opponent had many wounds from the Holy Lord's laser, claws and other injuries. On the contrary, the Holy Lord had no injuries at all, and his breath was not weakened at all. Seeing that his attack was completely ineffective, Mikwon Nei finally panicked at this moment. This can't go on, otherwise he will really lose. However, just as he was about to use the sealing technique, the Holy Lord's breath suddenly expanded. The early stage of the 9th level was completed. Mikwon Nei felt a great fear at once. What kind of monster was this that could break through in the battle? Just now, the opponent could fight back and forth with him before he reached the 9th level. Now it has been promoted to the 9th level. Then, he turned around and ran away without looking back. He is a noble venerable with a lifespan of 1,000 years. Now he has not lived for more than half of it. How can he die here? Where do you want to run? Fat bug, the entertainment game is over. Even though Yumikawa Naichi had used all his strength to escape, it was just a matter of seconds in front of the 9th level Saint Lord. Please spare my life, Saint Lord. I can hand over my soul to be your slave. I am also a member of the Federation and can hide news for you. Ah. Before Yumikawa Naichi finished begging for mercy, the laser from the Saint Lord's eyes pierced through his body. Yumikawa Naichi fell down with his eyes wide open. When he died, his face was still begging for mercy and flattering. After his death, the Saint Lord also ruled the island where the Yumikawa family was as he wished. Now he is only one step away from ruling the island country, that is, the place located on the central island. It is a sacred place regarded as the pinnacle of power in Japan. It is like a towering giant tower, piercing the sky, exuding an awe-inspiring atmosphere. This is the place where the power of Japan is supreme, and countless Japanese people admire and fear it. The emperor, who is known as the strongest man in Japan, lives here. This noble monarch controls the fate and direction of the entire country. Every word he says is like thunder, which can cause shock throughout the country. The Holy Lord is looking at the central island in the distance in the air with full of fighting spirit. After breaking through the 9th level, the 12 true meanings have made his heart swell to the peak. With such a powerful force, the Holy Lord feels that he can even touch the legendary true God. Of course, this is just what he thinks. Afterwards, the Holy Lord ordered some black shadow soldiers and demon minions to attack the remaining islands of Japan. He took another part of the black shadow soldiers to the central island. He hoped that the so-called strongest man in Japan would let him have fun and not die too quickly. On the other side, a figure rode a bicycle on the sea. This person was Lin Xiao's Kuzan clone. As for why he appeared here, it was because he reached a cooperation with the ice-type true god Lang Bingning. The other party gave him some ice-type resources and true god level skills. Resources are still very useful. Although there are no god level ones, the half-god ones are enough. As for the skills, they are useless. After all, he never practiced them. However, while he was thinking, he found a huge spiritual vortex in the sky. At this time, the surrounding spiritual energy seemed to be attracted by some mysterious force and gathered here. The aura, which was already quite rich, became even denser at this moment, as if forming a layer of light aura mist. Kuzan stopped the car and looked at the aura vortex in the sky, with a strong curiosity in his heart. Is this the legendary third aura revival? As we all know, the first aura revival gave birth to the first batch of superpowers. The second aura revival gave birth to strong people above level 7. And what will this third aura revival bring? Lin Xiao was very curious. In other areas, everyone was cheering for this aura revival at this moment. Then, they immediately began to practice. With such a rich aura in the outside world, they can practice very quickly even without the help of crystal cores. Some people even broke through the bottleneck that had been stuck for a long time at this time and reached the next realm. Ha ha ha, I've made it. After half a lifetime, I finally broke through to the 5th level. So you're a domain expert who broke through to the 5th level. Congratulations, I just broke through to the 7th level. So you're a war king expert. I just broke through to the 6th level. Please give me more advice. Really, have you all broken through? Only I'm stuck at 0. What level are you above? You can't break through with such a strong spiritual energy. Not high either, just the peak of the 8th level. It turns out to be an 8th level emperor. I'm sorry. Inside the demon city, many sub-9th level masters also broke through the bottleneck and became true masters after realizing the power of the true meaning. Before this, no matter how hard they thought about it, they could never realize the mysterious and powerful power of the true meaning. It was as if this power was blocked by an invisible barrier, making it difficult for them to touch the essence and truth of it. However, just after the aura surged in, the power of the true meaning that seemed out of reach now seemed to be unveiled, gradually revealing its true face. For a time, the number of 9th level venerables also skyrocketed, almost doubling from the previous 20-odd people. It can only be said that sometimes the environment is much more important than one's own efforts. On a distant mountaintop, surrounded by clouds and mist, stood a courtyard that looked like a fairyland. Li Qi was breaking through a very terrifying realm at this moment. Even Yi Wuchen was a little stunned at this moment, as the demigod realm opened to the revival of aura this time. Yi Wuchen asked Li Qi with a little shock. That's right, now Blue Star finally allows demigods to exist. I have accumulated too much foundation before, but I didn't expect that I couldn't suppress it as soon as the aura revived, ha ha ha. Li Qi was happy and excited about the realm he was about to break through. Speaking of which, King must have broken through to the demigod level long before. In a bamboo forest, the purple-robed purple bamboo reverend frowned slightly at this moment. There was a hint of displeasure on her delicate face. How could it be? The spiritual energy revival was actually ahead of schedule. Then, she deduced the future of the Federation. But she found that it was a hazy gray fog and she couldn't see anything clearly. This was the same as her previous deduction of Kizaru and King, she couldn't deduce anything. Her face suddenly became uglier. There were too many things beyond her control these days, and the cause and effect became confused. She didn't know whether this was a good thing or a bad thing. Somewhere in the sea, 5 dragons appeared above the sea. The face of Ao Miao, who was in the lead, was solemn. Obviously, this is totally inconsistent with the spiritual energy recovery time mentioned by the Lord God. However, this spiritual energy recovery is not all a bad thing. The 5 of them can use the resources given by the Lord God to step into the demigod in advance. 5 demigods will make it easier for them to execute the Lord God's orders in the future. You guys, take the demigod spiritual objects one by one and prepare to line up for breakthrough. We will protect each other. After the breakthrough, we will go to execute the Lord God's orders. Ao Miao instructed the 4 dragons, and then it started to break through the realm first. Then, the sky was covered with dark clouds, lightning and thunder. This symbolizes that the demigod's calamity has come. In Linhai City, Lin Xiao's main body is having a long-lost dinner with his good brother Fan Zhuang. What do you think happened, Brother Xiao? Fan Zhuang asked Lin Xiao while eating barbecue. This should be the 3rd great spiritual revival, but it seems that we can't control it. Come on, cheers. Lin Xiao raised a bottle of iced black tea to Fan Zhuang. I knew you liked to drink this, ha ha ha. Fan Zhuang then took a bottle of iced black tea on the table and clinked glasses with Lin Xiao. Then the two began to chat about some topics. When talking about the college, Fan Zhuang asked Lin Xiao with some doubts. Brother Xiao, I heard that you didn't even take the college entrance examination. Did you encounter anything else? You can find me. I am now in a local college in Linhai City. The Bai family has also come to recruit me. You can come to my place. Fan Zhuang immediately invited Lin Xiao. In response, Lin Xiao politely declined. Nothing, I just don't want to go. Now I'm free to live. When I can't make it, I'll come to you. I don't know if you will accept me, ha ha ha. Of course I will. As long as you come to me, I will definitely help you. Ha ha ha, it's good to hear you say that. Let's have a good gathering tonight. Brother Xiao has become rich recently. Please have a good meal. Okay, Brother Xiao will treat you. I haven't finished yet. I'll treat you. You pay. Why is that, Brother Xiao? Then the two of them spent a night in the city before going home. After returning home, Fan Zhuang found that he practiced very fast, and he was a little puzzled. But he still attributed this to the revival of spiritual energy. However, Lin Xiao in the dark smiled secretly at this scene. It seems that the natural treasures he added to the barbecue just now have taken effect. Now Fan Zhuang has cleansed his bones and marrow with his help, and his talent has been improved to the 1st grade. Lin Xiao, who was rising rapidly, naturally wanted to help his brother. Later, Lin Xiao secretly left a space ring in Fan Zhuang's home, which contained a large amount of resources and magic weapons. The talent and resources have been given, but it is unknown to what level the other party can grow to. Outside the blue planet, in this vast universe, in an unknown place. This is an amazing pure white palace. From a distance, it looks like a huge and holy snow mountain. The whole palace is pure white without a trace of color, as if it is made of the purest snowflakes. Approaching the palace, you can see that its architectural style is unique. The towering spires, exquisite carved windows and gorgeous porches all show its nobility and elegance. The gate of the palace is even more magnificent, with 2 heavy white stone doors closed, inlaid with golden patterns and gems, shining with mysterious brilliance. A white figure is sitting in the hall of the palace enjoying a leisurely afternoon tea time. At this time, there was a knock on the door, which made Hesse very dissatisfied. Please come in, I remember I told you not to disturb me unless it's important. Hesse said. His tone became solemn and his face darkened. He hated being disturbed during his afternoon tea time. My lord, this is really important. The servant saw that his master was a little angry, and he stuttered. Because he knew that his master often replaced servants. He carried out the bodies of the replaced people. He knew too well the moodiness of his master. Tell me, what's the important thing? If I'm not satisfied, you know. While speaking, Hesse took a sip of the red wine in the goblet on the table. A trace of the pressure of the true god realm was also revealed at this time. The servant was swept by this pressure and almost couldn't stand steadily. He spoke tremblingly. It's about that planet, the planet where you want to harvest faith. Just now, for some unknown reason, the planet has undergone the third spiritual revival, and demigods have begun to be born on it. In addition, according to the report submitted by Ao Miao, the human race on that planet is suspected to have 4 extreme realms born. They may all break through to demigods in this spiritual revival. The sea race on Ao Miao's side can no longer suppress the human race. As soon as he finished speaking, the servant's chest rose and fell violently, and he gasped heavily, as if he had just experienced a life-and-death catastrophe. After a long while, the servant's breathing gradually stabilized. But beads of sweat could still be seen rolling down his forehead, soaking his clothes. The pressure of the gods is too terrifying, it is terrifying. It is like an insurmountable mountain, and like a bottomless ocean, giving people endless oppression and despair. This is not just a disparity in power, but a huge gap in the level of life. Even though he has the 9th level cultivation, it only takes one thought for the gods to kill him. I know, I am very satisfied with this news, you can leave. The corners of Hesse's mouth rose slightly. The servant beside him was relieved to hear this, and after bowing to him, he turned and left. Only Hesse was left alone in the room. At this moment, the gloomy look on his face that had just been disturbed disappeared quickly as if blown away by a spring breeze, and replaced by a happy expression like a blooming spring flower. This is great, the spiritual energy of Blue Star has finally revived. This is one step closer to harvesting faith and becoming a god king. I just don't know what the old guy who plays with fire will do. In this situation, even he can't protect Blue Star. On Blue Star, in an unknown forest, Lin Xiao's Kuzan clone is teaching Shen Qing how to use domineering. This is armament hockey, an invisible armor that can attack and defend, very powerful. Kuzan punched the 1,000-meter-high mountain next to him. He did not use any spiritual power in this punch, only armament hockey. Kuzan's fist was like a flash of lightning across the sky, directly hitting the mountain. In an instant, the rocks collapsed and dust flew. The originally solid mountain became fragile in the face of this terrifying force. Huge cracks appeared on the mountain, spreading rapidly like a spider web. Immediately afterwards, the whole hill began to shake violently, countless stones and soil rolled down, raising a dust fog that covered the sky. In the end, under Kuzan's shocking punch, the once towering mountain completely turned into a pile of fine dust, drifting away with the wind, disappearing without a trace. Kuzan stood quietly in place, his powerful aura made people shudder. Shen Qing, who was standing by, stared at the scene in amazement. Is this really an attack that can be made without any spiritual power? This is too terrifying, even a 9th level venerable can't do it without any spiritual power and true power. Then, she recovered from her shock and tried to imitate Kuzan's appearance just now. After repeating the imitation several times, an invisible layer of armor appeared on her snow-white skin. Then, she punched the big stone in front of her. With a bang, the stone was broken into pieces by Shen Qing. Kuzan nodded with some satisfaction. This 7-aperture exquisite heart is really amazing. I learned it at a glance. You can be the protagonist. Your talent is amazing. The following is the second kind of hockey, which is the hockey of observation hockey. It can make people's 5 senses very sharp, and can also be used to predict and avoid attacks. After practicing to a certain level, it can even foresee the future. Come on, I will suppress my level to the same as yours. Take your weapon and come forward to attack me. Kuzan put his hands in his pockets and shouted to Shen Qing. Shen Qing had a firm look in his eyes and held a long sword in his hand. She knew that her teacher was very powerful, and she had to use all her strength to show respect to the other party. Shua, she flashed and performed the shaving that Kuzan had taught her before. In an instant, Shen Qing appeared behind Kuzan and stabbed the other party with a sword. Kuzan had predicted it with his observation hockey just now. He yawned and dodged the sword with a slight tilt of his body. Then, Shen Qing attacked Kuzan several times. Kuzan still didn't move a step, twisted his body a few times, and dodged all the opponent's attacks. Shen Qing didn't get anxious when she saw this scene, but understood the true meaning of observation hockey from the opponent's lazy look. After she made 100 moves, Shen Qing also successfully awakened observation hockey. Seeing this, Kuzan also began to let go, only using observation haki that was one level higher than the opponent. Shen Qing continued to understand and break through in this battle. Even Kuzan was a little frightened when he saw this scene. What a terrifying talent. After hundreds of rounds, Shen Qing became more and more proficient in the use of observation haki. A trace of surprise flashed in Kuzan's eyes. The speed of progress was really terrible. He decided to add some difficulty, so he quietly activated a higher level of observation haki. However, all this did not escape Shen Qing's perception. She responded quickly, and her sword style became more and more tricky. At this time, Shen Qing was like a dancing fairy, moving freely among the swords and shadows. Finally, Kuzan stopped attacking and said with a smile, "Yes, you have mastered the observation haki. If you continue to practice, you will soon meet the future." Shen Qing put away her sword and stood up, with a look of joy on her face. She knew that the road ahead was still long, but she had taken a solid step. Chapter 91. After the spiritual energy was revived, a month passed. A deep blue vortex appeared in the sky above the demon city. Everyone in the demon city was shocked by this scene. What is this? A blue vortex? Is it a spatial turbulence? What is this? The upstairs is obviously a fish that slipped through the net of the 9-year compulsory education. This is the entrance to the secret realm, do you know? So it is the entrance to the secret realm, then do you know what secret realm this is? I am not very clear. After all, I am only a 6th level, and I may not even be qualified to enter such a large secret realm. On the other side, the venerables guarding the demon city saw the appearance of the secret realm and appeared to block the space around the secret realm. This is done to prevent unknown people from entering and to prevent the creatures in the secret realm from running out. After all, some creatures in the secret realm are still very powerful, and letting them run out will cause a huge disaster. A Class B secret realm was discovered in a small city before, but the city lord did not report it and wanted to embezzle it. This led to the failure to seal the secret realm in time, and many 7th-level demon kings ran out of it, and the small town was destroyed. Therefore, whenever a secret realm appears, after surveying the size of the vortex and judging the level, the people of the Federation will temporarily seal it. After preparing for a period of time, people will be sent in. This space fluctuation is actually the Sky Secret Realm, which is open in advance. The venerable who sealed the secret realm was a little surprised at this moment. Let's seal it first, I will notify Lord Fist Venerable. Another venerable responded to him. Then, he flew towards Li Qi's residence. There are too many secrets in this Sky Secret Realm, and almost all of them, the 9th level, have been there. Therefore, this secret realm is opened in advance, and he must tell Lord Fist Venerable about this. On the Fist Venerable side, he was very shocked when he heard the news. Now he has just broken through the semi-god and stabilized his realm. I didn't expect to know such explosive news. As the strongest man in the Federation, he naturally knows the secrets of this secret realm better than others. In the darkest time of the human race, it was this secret realm that saved the human race. It was here that he and Yi Wuchen obtained a powerful inheritance, which enabled them to protect the human race. Almost all the human race masters who were born later had entered this secret realm. But what everyone didn't know was that this secret realm was actually left by a certain human race great power. This great power was also the one who caused the revival of the spiritual energy of Blue Star more than 300 years ago. He and Yi Wuchen had both received favors from each other. However, the opening of this secret realm in advance now made him feel a little uneasy. Why did this man want to open the secret realm in advance? Is something going to happen? Suddenly, Li Qi's joy of breaking through the demigod was swept away. Instead, there was endless worry. The opening of the secret realm will be the last tranquility before the storm comes. On Lin Xiao's side, he learned about the opening of this Sky Secret Realm from Huang Yuan. He was a little surprised by this. Lin Wenqing had previously hired his yellow ape clone at a high price to kill the Tianzhao in this secret realm. The Tianzhao who came out alive from this secret realm are almost all above the 7th level, and the birth of those venerables is inseparable from this secret realm. Although he didn't know why this secret realm was opened in advance, he must go into this secret realm. After all, he was also very curious about what kind of magic power was there that allowed so many venerables to be born. Inside the Sky Secret Realm, a fiery red figure was checking the secret realm inside. Demon beast, in good condition, the realm has not been broken through, it seems that everything is normal. The figure was a little erratic. A closer look would reveal that the other party was not a living person, but a soul body. He was also one of the gods in the Great War more than 300 years ago. After checking the situation in the secret realm, he found a place to sit down casually. Alas, man's calculations are ultimately no match for heaven's calculations. His soul body is getting weaker and weaker, and I'm afraid it won't last long. This is normal. After all, he was seriously injured before the war that year, so he was picked up by that fool from the Ice Spirit clan. But he was a powerful god king in his prime. Even if he was seriously injured and attacked, in the end, he still forced the other party to exchange one for one, and died together. It's just that the fool didn't die completely, and only the godhead was left to survive. Now he really wants to kill the fool completely, but he knows that the biggest enemy at the moment is not her, but from the angel in the universe. The angel had set his sights on this planet more than 200 years ago. The reason why he didn't take action was that he wanted to wait until it was fattened up and then absorb the power of faith. He knew what would happen if the angel sucked all the power of faith away. He didn't want this planet with human beings to become like that, enslaved by these angels. Therefore, he needed to open this secret realm in advance. And the hope of breaking the deadlock lies in this secret realm. I hope a true genius will be born. Thinking of this, he seemed to have made up his mind. After that, a few days passed. Today is the day for their forces to enter the Sky Secret Realm. Unlike usual, there is no limit on the number of people in the Sky Secret Realm this time. In other words, anyone under the age of 100 is eligible to enter. This caused a lot of waves in the Federation, and geniuses from various regions rushed to the Magic City in the past few days. Do you know, there is no limit on the number of people in the Sky Secret Realm this time. Anyone under 100 years old can enter. Where did you get the news? Why does it sound like fake information? How could it be fake? This is a message sent by the Federation itself, and geniuses from all over the Federation were invited. Ha ha ha, I am at the peak of the 3rd level. Who dares to kill me? Who can kill me? How dare you? I am the Sea Cucumber Tang Umbrella. You have already found your way to death. Outside the Sky Secret Realm, all the geniuses under 100 years old from the entire Blue Star gathered here at this moment. The Magic City Academy led by Huang Yuan was also among them. There was constant noise in the crowd, and everyone was excitedly discussing things about the secret realm. Or maybe some children from big families were showing off their power. After everyone arrived, the Fist Master waved his hand and tore open the blockade of the secret realm. At this time, a huge blue vortex appeared in the sky, shining with mysterious light. The staff of the Federation also shouted loudly at this moment. Everyone, the Sky Secret Realm has been unblocked. Please be prepared to enter the secret realm. As soon as the voice fell, many geniuses walked towards the vortex impatiently. After a dizzy feeling, everyone successfully entered the secret realm. Everyone found themselves in a mysterious forest. The towering ancient trees were lush and green, the sun cast mottled light and shadows through the treetops, and the ground was covered with thick fallen leaves, which rustled when stepped on. The air was filled with the smell of moist soil and the fragrance of plants, which made people intoxicated. They were surprised to find that the environment here was almost the same as the outside world. The sky was pure and deep, like a huge sapphire, crystal clear. The sun shone in this azure, reflecting colorful light, as gorgeous as a dream. But soon they woke up from this beautiful scenery. Because the spiritual energy here is so dense, in some places the spiritual energy has even turned into liquid. If you can stay in such a place for a long time, it is estimated that a dog can reach the 7th level. Everyone looked at all this excitedly. The spiritual energy is so dense that many natural treasures must have been born. Ha ha ha, it's actually a 100-year-old spiritual fruit. After eating it, I can directly break through to the 5th level. I'm so lucky. Where is the spiritual fruit? How dare you steal my spiritual fruit? You have already chosen your own way. Eat my attack and you will be entangled in the mist shadow. You, who did I think it was? A 2nd level person dared to attack me. I am at least at the peak of the 4th level. Go to hell. How is it possible? I am a sea cucumber Tang umbrella. How could I lose? Ah. Wow, I actually found a 7th level spiritual medicine. Ha ha ha, I'm rich now. Ah, why is there a 7th level demon king near this spiritual medicine? It's over. I'm going to die. Some people rely on their extraordinary strength and luck to obtain precious spiritual medicines or magic weapons. Some people unfortunately encounter powerful monsters and die. In addition to opportunities, there are also many dangers in the secret realm. Not only the monsters hiding in the dark, but also the teammates who are traveling with you may turn against each other. At this moment, Lin Luoyu encountered this situation. Lin Luoyu, do you want to hand over the purple hard netherworld fruit? If you hand it over, we will let you live. Nangong Chishi looked at Lin Luoyu in front of him with a smug look on his face. In his opinion, the other party will definitely hand it over. After all, there are 4 people on their side. They have all practiced for more than 50 years, and their cultivation is all the pride of the 6th level. And Nangong Chishi is a genius of the Nangong family. His cultivation is the amazing peak of the 6th level, just 1 step away from the 7th level. You know, there are very few people who can break through the 7th level before the age of 100. This requires not only amazing talent, but also a huge family support. But now this opportunity has come to Nangong Chishi. The purple hard netherworld fruit in the other party's hand can effectively help him break through the bottleneck and break through the 7th level. Thinking of this, his heart can't help but feel a little hot. If he breaks through the 7th level now, even that guy can't suppress him. He is the first genius of the Nangong family. However, when he was so whimsical, Lin Luoyu looked at Nangong Chishi and others with a look of idiot. She was a little confused in her heart. How could a 6th level dare to provoke her 7th level peak? That's right, not long ago, she successfully broke through the 7th level peak with the devouring heaven demon jar. But now these people's information thought that she had just broken through the 6th level and stabilized her realm. Hey, what's that look in your eyes? Are you looking down on us? Oh, of course I know that you broke through the 6th level at the age of 23, and look down on those of us who are over 50 years old, but now you are only in the early 6th level, and the weakest among us are in the middle 6th level. You are too conceited. Stop talking nonsense, take her down quickly, the time in this secret realm is limited, we can't delay here. The 4 people seemed to notice Lin Luoyu's expression, and they were a little angry. But then they let it go. After all, no matter how talented you are, you will die here today. A genius who has not grown up is destined to be nothing. Nangong Chishi took action himself, and his hands were billowing with black smoke. Watch carefully, this is the unique skill of our Nangong family. Since you are about to die, I will show you. Ah, how is it possible? Aren't you in the early stage of the 6th level? Before Nangong Chishi could make a move, he was stabbed in the throat by Lin Luoyu's flying knife, and blood splattered. Then, he fell in a pool of blood and died. This sudden scene shocked the other 3. How is it possible? His boss is at the peak of the 6th level, the second genius of the Nangong family. How could he be killed in one blow? Could the other party be a 7th level one? Just as they were thinking about it, several flying knives flew from the sky again and pierced their throats. The 3 died, and then Lin Luoyu began to touch the bodies, looking for valuable items on them. On the other side, Zhang Yan looked at the performance of everyone in the secret realm with some disappointment. Are all the human geniuses so weak this time? The highest realm is only the peak of the 7th level. However, considering that the cultivation system of this planet is not fully developed, this is quite normal. But if it goes on like this, I am afraid that no one will pass the Tianzhao list assessment he set up in the secret realm. That was a token he placed in the secret realm that connected to the central region Tianzhao list. This Tianzhao list was jointly created by the 10 most powerful supreme beings in the universe, and those assessment tokens were distributed to various parts of the universe by them. With this token, you can take the Tianzhao assessment as long as you are in this universe. If you can pass the assessment and get on the Tianzhao list, you will get a very generous reward. And these rewards are issued through the power of rules. As long as you are in this universe, you can receive the rewards at the first time. Zhang Yan's idea is that if someone can pass this assessment and successfully enter the top 100,000 in the universe, Blue Star, as the hometown of this genius, can be protected by the supreme rules. That angel is just a true god and can't move Blue Star at all. But his idea now seems to be a foolish dream. How big is the universe? The geniuses in the entire universe are like crucian carp crossing the river, countless. And Blue Star, a planet with less than 500 years of spiritual energy recovery, wants to cultivate a true dragon that can stand out among so many geniuses. After all, you can't raise a dragon in shallow water. However, just when Zhang Yan felt desperate, he was surprised to find that the warning formation he set up next to the token was activated. This shows that someone has used the token. At this moment, he looked at the dead 9th level demon lord next to the token, and new hope was ignited in his desperate heart. He was shocked that someone could kill the 9th level demon king without his sight and get the token. The human race actually has such a genius, ha ha ha, I will die with my eyes closed. Zhang Yan was so happy that the despair just now was swept away. But then he became worried again. Being able to kill this 9th level demon king in seconds only means stepping into the threshold of a genius. It is hard to say whether he can enter the top 100,000. Zhang Yan's expression suddenly became solemn. In the city of Demon City, Li Qi is worried about the impact of this spiritual energy revival. The spiritual energy revival will not only benefit the human race, but also the monsters. During this period, cities have been attacked by high-level monsters. Even though many venerables were born in this spiritual energy revival, they are still a little busy. Master Quan Zun, I got important information after killing a 9th level monster. Zhang Lei hurriedly contacted Li Qi with his mobile phone. Li Qi became serious when he saw the other party so panicked. After all, the other party is the strongest person in the Federation except himself and those monsters. What important things, tell me quickly. When I searched the soul of this monster, I found that their attack was organized, and the instigator behind them was the 5 old loaches of the Sea clan, and most importantly, I learned from the other party's memory that the 5 old loaches are likely to have all entered the semi-god. Zhang Lei's face was gloomy when he said this. What, all 5 of them have become demigods? Li Qi's face changed drastically after hearing the news. The central island of the island country. The fierce battle here has also come to an end. I'm so sorry for not letting the Lord Saint do his best. The Emperor, the strongest man in Japan, also fell down at this time. After fighting for 3 days and 3 nights, his muscles and bones were almost broken, and his spiritual power and physical body were close to the limit. He was tired of this battle. No, this should not be a battle, this is a one-sided crushing by the Lord Saint. The opponent has never been serious from beginning to end. I don't know how this monster was born. The Emperor stopped thinking and died completely. The people of the island country felt extremely desperate when watching this scene. The central island that stands on the island country and symbolizes the supreme power was actually sunk halfway in this thrilling and fierce battle. The magnificent and indestructible buildings collapsed and turned into ruins. The once bustling streets have now been submerged by the sea, leaving only broken walls and ruins crumbling in the waves. Thick smoke billowed into the sky, covering the sky and the sun, as if the end of the world had come. The residents of the island were terrified and fled everywhere, with cries and cries for help intertwined. Echoing over this devastated land, some of the remaining strong men in the island country also stood in the distance motionlessly. The emperor died tragically, the central island was destroyed, and the island shrine where they worshipped their ancestors was also destroyed. At this moment, the faith in their hearts that was originally as solid as a rock began to show tiny cracks. They spread rapidly, intertwined like a spider web. Finally, with a dull and heartbreaking roar, their inner faith completely collapsed as this half of the island sank into the sea. Their eyes were full of despair and confusion, as if they had lost their souls. The faith that was once regarded as the pillar of life has now vanished. Some people even suffered a mental shock at this moment and became crazy. At this moment, the Holy Lord stood on the ruins and laughed at the sky. This feeling of destruction is really great. Next, it will rule this island country. Later, with the assistance of the Black Shadow Corps and the Devil's minions, the Holy Lord successfully ruled this island and renamed it the capital of gods. At this time, the system's prompt sound came, and the mission was completed. After receiving the reward, its realm leapt to the peak of the 9th level. Feeling the surge in its own power, the Holy Lord couldn't help but want to expand outward. However, at this moment, it felt two ninth-level demon lords approaching. The Holy Lord was a little curious about what the two ninth-level demon lords were doing here. On the other side, two ninth-level demon lords were flying over the island country in a swagger. Brother Whale, do you think we too are in the early stage of the ninth level and come here to invite the Yamata no Orochi? Will we be eaten by him? A jellyfish-like demon lord said to the blue whale beside him. Don't you have a brain? We are the messengers of the Dragon Emperor. If it dares to kill us, it is tantamount to provoking the Dragon Emperor. Our Dragon Emperor is a strong man who has already stepped into the realm of demigod. Does it dare to offend him? The blue whale rolled his eyes at the jellyfish demon lord. As they talked, the two came to the central island of the island country. Looking at the half-sunken island in front of them, the two demon lords were confused. What is going on? The fluctuations of the battle between the ninth-level strong men. Could it be that the Yamata no Orochi and its pets are fighting? But then, they saw the man sitting on the throne, the Holy Lord on the top. They were a little curious about this. After all, apart from the 5 dragon masters, they had never seen a real dragon. You are Yamata no Orochi, right? The revival of spiritual energy actually made you evolve. Jellyfish Demon Lord looked at the Holy Lord with some astonishment. Blue Whale also had the same idea at this time, thinking that the other party was the evolved Yamata no Orochi. After all, dragons are rare creatures, and even those monsters have the opportunity to evolve into dragons. As socialites in the deep sea, the two of them knew almost all the 8th level peak monster kings. But in their cognition, the only high-level monster that can become a dragon nearby is Yamata no Orochi. Therefore, they did not think that the Holy Lord in front of them was some strange monster. What are you talking about? I am a dragon, a real dragon. How can I be the Yamata no Orochi you are talking about? The Holy Lord was called Yamata no Orochi, which made it a little angry. Suddenly, the air became heavy, and the two demons felt an invisible pressure like a mountain pressing on them. At this moment, they also understood that this dragon demon was not Yamata no Orochi. It was a strange demon, and the other party's aura was stronger than both of them. Such a terrifying pressure could easily kill them both. The blue whales were a little distressed at this time. It was very troublesome for them to face such demon beasts of unknown origin. Because the other party might have run out of a secret realm, and they didn't know the current situation of Blue Star. In this way, even if they have the identity of demigod messengers, it would be useless here. The other party is a newborn calf who is not afraid of a tiger. It is very likely that they will kill them directly regardless of the majesty of the demigod. Although the Dragon King will avenge them after they are killed. But since they are all dead, what is the use of revenge? Therefore, they have to find a way to stabilize the other party. However, at this moment, an extremely huge and frightening figure slowly emerged from the sea in the distance. The figure had 8 heads and 8 tails, and its body was beyond imagination, like a towering mountain, stretching between heaven and earth. From a distance, its body, which was as undulating as mountains, was covered with moss and trees. When it moved, the entire sea surface trembled. The originally calm sea surface instantly set off a storm, as if it was violently stirred by an invisible big hand. Every time it moved, it would cause a strong vibration, which spread to the surroundings with an overwhelming force. Wherever it went, the sea water boiled and rolled, forming a towering water wall. The waves collided and broke each other, making a deafening roar. The entire sea surface was like a giant beast that had lost control, struggling and roaring madly. Lord Yaki, this is Lord Yaki, we are saved. Lord Yaki will definitely kill this evil dragon, we are going to be liberated. Yoshi, with Lord Yaki here, a mere evil dragon is nothing to be afraid of. The people of the island country looked at this huge figure and thought of the Yaki snake in their myths and legends. In their opinion, as long as Lord Yaki takes action, it will be easy to defeat the evil dragon lord. What a noise, these ants. The Lord was very dissatisfied with these remarks. How could there be so many traitors in his kingdom? Then, the Black Shadow soldiers began to slaughter the island people who had shouted the most fiercely just now. No, you can't kill me, I am a believer of Lord Yaki, you will be punished, ah. Lord Yaki, save me, ah. The jellyfish demon lord and the blue whale demon lord on the side were also very shocked when they saw the huge figure in front of them. The iconic image of the 8 heads and 8 tails made them confirm that this was the real Yamata no Orochi. And judging from the other party's appearance, it is very likely that he has broken through to the peak of the 9th level. This is not good. The other party will definitely be furious when seeing the Holy Lord occupying its territory, and a conflict will occur here. 2 peak 9th level demon lords are fighting, and even if they are close to the battlefield, they will be affected. Originally thought that this was an easy task, but unexpectedly it involved a battle between 2 peak 9th level demon lords. On the other side, the Yamata no Orochi on the sea surface reached the coast. It found that its kingdom was ruled by an unknown demon lord, and it was extremely angry. "Guy, you dared to occupy my territory while I was breaking through outside. Even if you are a peak 9th level demon lord like me, it won't work. But considering the current situation of Blue Star, it is not suitable to fight with such an opponent of the same level. After all, after the recovery of spiritual energy, there are more 9th level demon lords. If they start a war here, it is easy for other demon lords to pick up the gap later." But it certainly couldn't show that it was scared. Then, Yamata no Orochi angrily questioned the Holy Lord. "You've gone too far, Dragon Demon Lord. Not only did you occupy my territory while I was out, you also killed my pets and turned this place upside down. Since you and I have the same cultivation level, you only need to compensate me with some natural treasures and leave this island, and this matter will be over." As soon as these words came out, the 2 demon lords who were watching were a little surprised. Did this Yamata no Orochi take the wrong medicine? The other party messed around in its territory like this, but it only asked for some natural treasures to be compensated. This is somewhat inconsistent with the image of being ruthless and vindictive in the rumors. But it's good that this demon lord called the Holy Lord may give in when he sees an opponent of the same level. The battle between the peak 9th level demon lords should not be launched. "What are you yelling about, you lowly reptile? Since ancient times, the territory belongs to the strong, and insects have no right to speak, even if you are an 8-headed insect." The Holy Lord spoke with a magnetic voice. It looked at Yamata no Orochi with a disdainful expression. Yamata no Orochi was completely enraged by its behavior. "Don't go too far, Guy, I have made concessions, you just need to. I need your mother. This is already my territory. Do you want to be killed by me or get out of here?" After the Holy Lord finished speaking, it sprayed a huge ball of flames at Yamata no Orochi. With a boom, the flame exploded when it touched one of Yamata no Orochi's heads. The explosion roared, and the aftermath set off huge waves in the sea. One of Yamata no Orochi's heads was blown into a bloody mess, and it roared in pain. This guy actually attacked directly without any martial ethics. It didn't care about the possibility of being picked up at this moment. The demon lord in front of it touched its bottom line again and again. If the tiger doesn't show its power, it really thinks it is a sick snake. "Okay, very good, do you think I'm afraid of you? Ignorant guy, my cultivation is not lower than yours." Then, its other heads began to show their power and sprayed dark green liquid at the Holy Lord. The Holy Lord didn't want to be stuck by this disgusting liquid, so it dodged. The dark green liquid splashed behind it, and the places that were stained actually made a sizzling sound. It looked like it was madly corroded by concentrated sulfuric acid. The trees, flowers and plants on the island were all corrupted under this power. The 2 demon lords on the side looked at this scene with some trepidation in their hearts. Sure enough, it was still opened. Did they fight? Then, they contacted the Dragon King remotely and informed him of the situation here. Then, they hid nearby and began to watch the battle. "You can only dodge, Dragon Demon Lord. If that's the case, you will die under my decaying true meaning." After a moment, its decaying true meaning began to spread. The trees on the island withered and died, becoming rotten, and the people turned into mummies. The area within 100 miles was enveloped by this decaying breath, and even this sea area was dyed dark green by the other party. "It's really disgusting, 8-headed insect." The Holy Lord flew into the air with a look of disgust, and the attacks of the Yamata no Orochi followed one after another. In response, the Holy Lord just threw a fireball and dispersed all these attacks. "It seems that you do have some strength, but that's all. My decaying domain has been unfolded, and the air is filled with the power of the true meaning of decay. What you do here is just to delay your death. Yamada no Orochi said jokingly, and while he was talking, his head that was just blown up by the Holy Lord also grew out. In his opinion, the other party did not stop him from unfolding the decaying domain, and he had won from this moment on. The Holy Lord ignored Yamada no Orochi's ridicule, but looked at him as if he were looking at a corpse. He wanted to kill the big bug in one blow. Then, the powerful true meaning of fire emerged from the Holy Lord. It gathered such a terrifying true meaning of fire and formed a fireball hundreds of meters high. This fireball was as dazzling as the sun, and the huge flames could be seen for hundreds of miles around. The true meaning of decay actually retreated under this power. Yamada no Orochi was shocked. He didn't expect that his true meaning of decay had obviously eroded the other party's body. How could it still use such a terrifying attack? And looking at the opponent's posture, it would not drop the fireball like this, would it? Madman. This is simply a madman. If it does this, not only itself, but also the area within 100 miles will be evaporated. When Yamada no Orochi saw the Holy Lord dropping the fireball, he panicked and wanted to escape. Unfortunately, it was too late. At that moment, the huge fireball burning in the sky, with endless destructive power and scorching heat, fell down with a thunderous force. The dazzling light it produced when it crossed the sky seemed to illuminate the whole world as bright as day. Accompanied by a deafening roar, a violent explosion occurred in this sea area. The waves rolled violently, as if telling the amazing power of the explosion. This terrifying scene made people tremble with fear, as if the end of the world was coming. When the aftermath of this terrifying power dissipated, the originally turbulent sea surface became unusually calm at this moment, with only some fragmentary flames still burning on the sea surface. The huge figure of the Yamada no Orochi had long disappeared, and it was obviously reduced to ashes in this earth-shaking blow. The Holy Lord stood in the air, unscathed, and even his aura was at its peak. But the kingdom it had just established had all sunk into the sea under the power of this blow. The original island here has become a sea area. But the Holy Lord did not regret it at all. After all, this is a tiny place. It just needs to rule other places, and it already has a goal in mind. Then, the Holy Lord's figure disappeared on the spot. After that, a familiar figure appeared above this sea area. He frowned slightly as he looked at the scene in front of him. Good guy, I was wondering why the entire blue star was shaking. It turned out that the island country was sunk. Is this what those loaches did? Yi Wuchen surveyed the surrounding atmosphere and found that the breath of fire element was particularly strong. He could not help but point the finger at Ao Yan, one of the 4 dragon kings. But thinking carefully, it was not right. The other party must be in a stable state after entering the demigod. Moreover, he learned from Li Qi that after entering the demigod, his true meaning would be transformed into a more powerful force. This kind of power is called the prototype of the law, which is countless times more powerful than the true meaning. But the power of the true meaning in front of him means that the other party has not entered the demigod. Thinking of this, his face could not help but be a little solemn. Such a terrifying power of true meaning must be a peak 9th level venerable. A strange venerable appeared near their territory and it was not a good thing. On the other side, in the deep sea, the Dragon King also felt this terrifying fluctuation. He was also planning to send a Dragon King there, but he did not expect that such a big commotion would occur before he sent anyone. According to its 2 messengers, a Dragon Demon Lord and the Yamada no Orochi had fought. Unfortunately, the 2 messengers died in the aftermath of this horror. It had no way of knowing the outcome of this battle. But it still sent Ao Yan to investigate the matter. After all, it was a 9th level peak Dragon Demon Lord, recruiting a very powerful force in the Sky Secret Realm. At this moment, Huang Yuan had used the token to participate in the assessment of the 100-year-old prodigy ranking. As for why he participated, it was because Lin Xiao understood the rules and found that this was a good place to brush up his reputation. The ranking here can be seen by the entire universe. Once you are at the forefront, you can attract the attention of all the supreme races. Thinking of this, Lin Xiao couldn't help but get excited. How much reputation would those god-level bosses give? He decisively let Huang Yuan's clone choose the 100-year-old track from the 1000-year-old and 100-year-old track. After all, The water of Qian Sui is a bit deep. It seems that all of them are above the 9th level. How can he play with a 9th level? Then, he came to an unfamiliar room. There was a huge light screen in the room, which showed the top 100,000 on the Tianzhao list. Huang Yuan clicked on the man's name to challenge him. The challenge number on the side showed 3, which meant that he could only challenge 3 times. But it also said that if the challenge was successful, the number of times would not be consumed. In other words, as long as you keep winning, the number of challenges is unlimited. Seeing this, Huang Yuan directly turned to the top 100 on the Tianzhao list and wanted to challenge. If you want to fight, fight the elite. Anyway, there are 3 chances of failure. But just when he wanted to press the challenge button, he found that the challenge button was gray and could not be clicked. A prompt text also appeared at this moment. Tianzhao who want to challenge the top 100 must enter the top 1000 to be eligible. Tianzhao who want to challenge the top 1000 must enter the top 100,000. Tianzhao who want to challenge the top 1000 must first enter the top 100,000. Huang Yuan was a bit overwhelmed when he saw this rule. He had to start the challenge from the beginning. What a hassle. His current ranking was not good enough. He could only challenge the prodigies ranked between 10,000th and 100,000th. Then, Huang Yuan turned to the ranking list after 10,000th. After picking a lucky guy at random, he challenged him. At the same time, on the other side, the prodigy who was challenged clicked to agree. Humph, a low-ranking person dared to challenge my 23,971st prodigy. He really doesn't know how to live or die. But it just so happens that I've been lacking some training resources recently, and I guess I can get them by defeating the other party. In addition to distributing resources on time every month, the prodigies on the prodigy list accept the challenge, and you can get rich rewards if you successfully defend the list. After that, a light curtain appeared, and the Tianzhao stepped into it with confidence. In his opinion, this inferior guy dared to challenge him directly over so many people, which was extremely arrogant. He had seen many such country bumpkins. He must be the number 1 prodigy of a certain planet and think that he is also a prodigy in the universe. He must teach this guy a lesson and dampen his spirit. The Tianzhao in the universe are as numerous as the stars in the sky, and they are not something that a country bumpkin from a small planet can touch. After a while, the Tianzhao who was full of confidence just now was thrown out by the light curtain. He lay on the ground with an unbelievable look on his face. How could it be possible? He actually lost. What made him most difficult to accept was that he was killed in seconds without even seeing the other person's figure clearly. It seemed that he only heard the other party say something terrible. Then it seemed that he was killed in seconds. This is really a monster. Thinking of this, he was relieved. He was not able to deal with this kind of opponent. He had a hunch that there would be a big change in the Tianzhao ranking tonight. The opponent's strength to kill him in seconds would definitely make him a few thousand. But I don't know how far the opponent can go. The Tianzhao's eyes were fixed on the changes in the Tianzhao ranking. On the other side, after Huang Yuan killed the Tianzhao in seconds, his ranking also replaced the opponent's. At the same time, the rewards were also distributed, which were some spiritual medicines for polishing the body. Looking at these spiritual medicines, Huang Yuan naturally knew the function of this thing. This is used to break the limit of the physical body. After he got this token, he also knew a lot about the 9th level extreme. The so-called extreme is actually divided into realms. These realms are divided into 1 forbidden to 9 forbidden. To advance every time, you need to break the physical limit and the spiritual limit at the same time. Each time you break it is called 1 forbidden, and breaking it 9 times is 9 forbidden. If you reach the 4th forbidden level, you can control the prototype of the law, which is comparable to a demigod. If you reach the 7th forbidden level, you can master the real law, which is comparable to a true god. The genius that Huang Yuan just defeated was a 3 forbidden strongman who broke the limit 3 times. However, this still cannot analyze Huang Yuan's specific strength. Lin Xiao looked at the 9th level peak on the system panel and fell into thought. What realm is this 9th level peak? After thinking for a while, Lin Xiao decided to let Huang Yuan continue to challenge. He knew that his system was very powerful, maybe it was the 9th forbidden level. Then, he began to look for the lucky person from the first 10,000 to the first 1,000 miles. Soon, Kizaru found his opponent. This is a genius ranked 4444th, and his race is not human. He is a genius of the Dragon Clan, and he looks very young. Oh, someone dares to challenge me. Do you know who I am? I am Long Aocean of the Dragon Clan, a genius who broke through the 4 prohibitions at the age of 27. Now I am only one step away from the 5 prohibitions. In a few decades, the top of the genius list will definitely belong to me. Long Aocean stood on the ring with a proud look. I saw Long Aocean standing on the ring with his head held high. He folded his hands across his chest, and his eyes revealed an incomparable arrogance. The lights of the ring fell on him, as if he was covered with a layer of golden light. But this light could not cover up the arrogance that emanated from him from the inside out. He raised his chin slightly, with a hint of contempt at the corner of his mouth. Come on, challenger, challenge me with all your strength. Kizaru looked at this scene and curled his lips in a lewd way. It's really scary. I wonder if you have been kicked by light. Kizaru came behind the opponent in an instant. He held his chin with his hand, with a nonchalant look on his face, and kicked the opponent away with a light-speed kick. At this time, the ring also showed that Kizaru won, and the two were teleported back to their original place. At this moment, Long Aocean was sitting on his bed with a dull look on his face. What happened? Why did he lose directly? He had an unbelievable expression on his face. He was at the peak of the 4 forbidden levels, and he could fight even the 5 forbidden Tianzhao. It's not like he was killed instantly without even seeing the opponent's figure clearly. Who is the opponent? This attack must be at the level of 6 forbidden levels. Long Aocean found Kizaru's information in the record column of the Tianzhao list. Borsellino, age 58, unknown cultivation, light attribute ability. Seeing this, Long Aocean's expression changed. Unknown cultivation. What's going on? Could the other party have a way to hide it from the Tianzhao list? It's really terrifying. On the other side, people in the universe are paying attention to the Tianzhao list. They were surprised to see a strange name suddenly appear in the top 100 of the Tianzhao list. Look, the 66th place in the top 100 of the Tianzhao list has changed. I see, I've never heard of this Borsellino. Who is this boss? Is he from the Supreme Race? Are you blind? How can he be from the Supreme Race? Didn't you see the human race on his profile? Human race? What race is this? I haven't heard of it. The person above is obviously ignorant. The human race is at least one of the top 100 races in the universe, but he doesn't even know it. Are you all paying attention to his race? Didn't you notice that he just joined the Tianzhao list yesterday, and today he's in the top 100? I really didn't notice it. Let's bet on where he can end up. I'll give you 10,000 god sources. People from all over the universe looked at Kizaru's ranking and talked about it. The human high-level officials held an emergency meeting when they learned that a human was on the top 100 of the Tianzhao list. After checking that Kizaru was not a genius cultivated by their top leaders, they mobilized the entire human race to find this human genius named Borsellino. For their human race, there is only one person besides Kizaru who can be on the top 100 of the 100-year-old Tianzhao list. But that person is ranked in the 90s, at the bottom, which is completely incomparable to Kizaru's current 66th place. Therefore, their human top leaders now urgently need to find this genius and protect him. In the Tianzhao list, Kizaru successfully defeated another Tianzhao in the top 100, and now his ranking has reached 11th. At this moment, he has the qualifications to challenge the top 10. However, he cannot challenge the first place yet. Because if you want to challenge the Tianzhao in the top 5, you must enter the top 10. He can only challenge the 6th place at most. But for Kizaru, this is just a matter of fighting one more time. Now he has almost confirmed his current strength, which should be the 9th forbidden. After all, the prodigy he just defeated with a few moves was a level 8 forbidden. And now, among the top 10, only the first one has the strength of a level 9 forbidden. So, everyone present is a happy person. However, just when Huang Yuan was about to challenge the 6th on the list of prodigies, he actually received a challenge. The challenger was none other than the number 1 prodigy Feng Liu. Huang Yuan was a little confused about her coming to challenge him as the number 1. After all, The higher-ranked party challenging the lower-ranked party has almost no benefit. The higher-ranked party will be replaced by the other party if it loses. Why would she do such a thankless thing? Given that it was a reputation offered, Huang Yuan did not choose to refuse, but clicked to accept. Then, after a dazzling white light flashed, Huang Yuan came to the ring. He saw this graceful woman at first sight, Feng Liu. Feng Liu was wearing a gorgeous and colorful feathered dress, with her skirt fluttering and dancing in the wind. She was like a fairy in the sky, with a graceful and light figure, as if she was not in the world and was extraordinary and otherworldly. Her skin was whiter than snow, as warm and delicate as mudden fat jade. At this moment, Feng Liu was looking at Huang Yuan with a serious expression. Although this person's appearance was a bit unremarkable, he still looked lazy. But his aura was unfathomable, and even I couldn't see through it. At the same time, Huang Yuan was also sizing up the other party. The aura of the 9 Forbiddens, the phoenix with dual attributes of ice and fire, this is really terrifying. Number of Forbiddens, my name is Feng Liu, 9 Forbiddens Peak, may I know who you are? After a brief look at Huang Yuan, Feng Liu introduced herself in the universal language of the universe. So you are a fellow Taoist from the Phoenix clan, I am Borsellino, my cultivation level, let's call it the 9 Forbiddens. Huang Yuan also responded to the other party in a proficient universal language of the universe. This universal language of the universe is still very simple. He has such a powerful soul power, and he learned it at a glance. So it's fellow Taoist Borsellino, I really didn't challenge the wrong person, you are really strong. Are you ready? Our battle is about to begin. If you beat me, the first place will be yours. Feng Liu looked at Huang Yuan with full fighting spirit. After her brief contact, she already felt that the other party was a strong man of the same realm as her. It seems that she didn't challenge the wrong person. Then, her aura gradually climbed to the peak. Her body actually presented a jaw-dropping scene. Half of it was like crystal clear ice, emitting a biting cold air. And the other half was like a blazing flame, emitting a fiery light. This strange state of ice and fire made her look as if she came from a mythical existence. Is this the legendary phoenix? Huang Yuan looked at the amazing changes of the other party in some surprise. I didn't expect that the other party's body could have such two extreme attributes at the same time. She really deserves to be the first on the Tianzhou list. Huang Yuan's unremarkable face also showed some seriousness at this moment. The battle for the first place on the Tianzhou list is about to begin. Did you find out? The Liu goddess who ranked first on the Tianzhou list actually took the initiative to challenge that Borsellino, and the other party actually agreed. HMPH, he really doesn't know how to live or die. He thinks that he can challenge the first place on the Tianzhou list with some strength. I bet he will lose. What do you know? He had already defeated the 11th ranked Hammer King before being challenged. Even if he lost, he still has the strength of the top 10. Come on, bet, who do you want to bet on? I bet 1 million divine sources on the Liu goddess, all in. I also bet all on the Liu goddess. After all, the other party is known as the strongest Tianzhou in 10,000 years. Who can combine extreme ice and fire together? Just ask who can do it. Everyone bet on Feng Liu, and Huang Yuan's odds have reached an astonishing 1,000. On the human side, after learning the news, they also went to the live broadcast room of the Tianzhou list to check. Now the number of people watching Huang Yuan and Feng Liu fighting has exceeded 1 trillion. At this moment, Lin Xiao, who was playing badly somewhere in Blue Star, felt so much reputation. He was so happy. This was so cool, he couldn't see how many zeros there were in the reputation points. What made him even happier was that after he had upgraded the Yellow Monkey template to 100% role-playing degree, the system unlocked a new function, which could increase one's own strength with reputation points. However, now, his reputation had so many zeros that he couldn't count them. Let's set a small goal first, and let the Blue Star true gods walk everywhere. In the Tianzhou list, Yellow Monkey was fighting fiercely with Feng Liu. I saw the other party wave his hands, and a heart-pounding force gushed out. In an instant, the ice blue and scarlet red intertwined, like two giant dragons rolling and roaring in the air. The icy cold and the blazing flames spread rapidly, covering the entire venue in the blink of an eye. The place where ice and fire intertwined constantly made a sizzling sound, as if it could devour everything. The air was filled with thick water mist and hot breath, making it difficult to breathe. After turning into light, Huang Yuan dodged this move. Then, his figure flashed, like a flash of lightning, and flew into the sky in the blink of an eye. In the air, he exuded a strong and mysterious aura, as if he was integrated with the world. This is the power of the law that can only be mastered by the true God realm. Huang Yuan crossed his hands and muttered something in his mouth. Yashikani no Magatama. In an instant, countless rays of light shot out from his hands. These rays of light intertwined and entangled with each other, and finally condensed into an extremely huge and brilliant light ball. This light ball was like a scorching sun, illuminating the entire sky, and the energy it contained was even more palpitating. Even Feng Liu was dumbfounded watching this scene. As expected, she did not find the wrong person. The opponent's strength was much stronger than those fakes on the Tianzhou list. The opponent seemed to be able to help her break the bottleneck of the legendary 10 Forbidden. At the moment when the huge light ball fell rapidly like a meteor, the entire arena seemed to be ignited, making a deafening noise. Then, a powerful and violent energy wave spread rapidly around with the light ball landing point as the center. The power of ice and fire dissipated under the powerful impact. Wherever it went, the air was torn into wisps. Fortunately, the battlefield was created by the power of rules, and such a terrifying attack did not damage the battlefield at all. But the rolling smoke and dust covered the entire battlefield, and the figures of the two were also obscured by the heavy smoke and dust. The people watching the live broadcast outside could only see a gray scene, making it difficult to distinguish the specific situation. Oh my god, this battle is so exciting. They start with a star-destroying move. As a true god, I feel like I can't handle it. Me too. I feel like I can't handle it as a true god. Is this really a battle that a 9th level god can fight? Where's the Liu goddess? My Liu goddess, I hope the goddess won't lose. Don't worry. This is just a greeting from these geniuses. Only those who accept these greetings are worthy of them to take it seriously. Ah, you call this a greeting? Sure enough, the world of geniuses is different from ours. As time went by, the thick smoke on the battlefield began to slowly dissipate. As if it was gently uncovered by an invisible big hand, the two figures reappeared in front of the audience. Kizaru was unscathed, even the clothes were not dirty. He stood there with his hands in his pockets. Feng Liu's clothes were a little messy, but her aura was still at its peak, without any attenuation. Next, I'm going to get serious. As soon as the words fell, a powerful force surged out of her body. In an instant, the light was shining, dazzling and hard to look at. When the light faded, everyone was surprised to find that Feng Liu had turned into a huge phoenix. This phoenix was huge and covered with colorful feathers. Each feather was shining with a charming luster, as if it was inlaid with the finest gems. On its high head, a pair of sharp eyes like swords exuded majesty and domineering. The sharp beak was like cast in gold, shining with cold light. The huge and gorgeous wings behind her presented an amazing color contrast. One side was covered in frost and shone with a charming and rich blue light, while the other side was a blazing fire, releasing a fiery and bright red glow. Kizaru looked at this scene with a bit of shock on his face. This was the first time he had seen a real phoenix. On the other side, people outside were cheering for this scene. It was also the first time they saw Feng Liu's phoenix true body. After all, the opponent's previous opponents were all crushed by her unilaterally, and no one had been able to force out her phoenix true body. Wow, is this the true form of the phoenix of the Liu goddess? So beautiful, hee hee. No, buddy, you like this even if it's not in human form. What's the big deal? Look, the goblins next door are even doing sows. That's not bad. Ah, is this so outrageous? It's normal. After all, there are so many races in the universe, and it's normal to have different aesthetics. Then I like female lizards. Is that normal? Excuse me, what race are you from? You like lizards, are they lizards? No, I'm human. Ah, no, buddy, are all you humans so outrageous? No, we humans are not like this. Don't slander us. Say you're here to travel. On the Tianzhou ranking arena. The battle between Huang Yuan and Feng Liu is still going on. The terrifying flames and biting frost covered the entire battlefield. Huang Yuan was forced to engage in an air battle with Feng Liu. However, Feng Liu's huge wings, every time they flapped gently, they would trigger a thrilling attack. As the wings fluttered, countless crystal-clear frosts fell like snowflakes, as if the whole world was covered with a layer of silver. At the same time, the blazing flames also gushed out with the movement of the wings, like a blazing torrent, burning with fire wherever it went. This scene of ice and fire surrounded Huang Yuan. At this moment, Huang Yuan had to be serious. If only the light-based ability was used, it would not be enough. The opponent's strength was too strong. Huang Yuan needed to show some real skills. Then, Huang Yuan, who was dodging in the air, gathered his hands. A Tiankongyan sword made of light elements appeared in Huang Yuan's hand. It's really scary. The power of your Phoenix clan, now I have to start to take it seriously. Then, he looked more serious and held the Tiankongyan sword tightly with both hands. In an instant, a powerful force gushed out from his body. A layer of dark red lightning began to entangle the sword body. This is the powerful domineering color entanglement. It wrapped the entire sword body like a burning flame, exuding a palpitating breath. As the domineering color of the domineering aura continued to gather, the air around the sword body seemed to be distorted. The dark red power sizzled, making Feng Liu a little distracted at this moment. What kind of power is this? Race magic power. Does the human race have such a terrifying race magic power? While she was astonished, the terrifying sword energy had already fallen towards her. Feng Liu came to her senses and hurriedly flapped her wings to retreat. But the dark red sword energy was extremely fast and was approaching in the blink of an eye. She had to hastily raise her ice shield to resist. Bang! The two collided, making a loud noise. The ice shield was instantly shattered, and the sword energy continued to attack Feng Liu. At the critical moment, Feng Liu opened her mouth and spurted out a blue flame, confronting the sword energy head-on. The flame and sword energy intertwined with each other, and there was a stalemate for a while. However, Feng Liu quickly urged the ice attribute power to join in. The magical thing is that the power of ice not only did not hinder the use of the fire element. Instead, it merged with it and became a powerful force, which dispersed Huang Yuan's sword energy. Then she took advantage of the victory and waved her blue and red wings to attack Huang Yuan. Outside, everyone had caused an uproar because of Huang Yuan's sword. What kind of method is this? The dark red power is a bit similar to the law of thunder. It shouldn't be the law of thunder. The law of thunder is not like this, because I am the true god of the law of thunder. This dark red power does not have the breath of thunder. Then what kind of method is this? It actually broke the flames and frost on the field of Liu goddess. Is this some kind of magical power of the human race? Ah, human magical power. I am also a human, why don't I have it? Add 1 to the above. People from all over the universe talked about it. But the next scene shocked their hearts again. Just when Feng Liu's wings were about to collide violently with Huang Yuan's lightsaber, an unexpected scene happened. Feng Liu was like a kite with a broken string. For some reason, she was directly blown away by a mysterious force. Feng Liu did not expect that she would be blown away without any resistance. Her face was full of astonishment and disbelief. How could it be possible? The opponent's sword hasn't even touched her yet. How could she be knocked away? She has the power of ice and fire to protect her. With a loud bang, she fell heavily to the ground in the distance, raising a cloud of dust. How is it possible? How could she be knocked away when she hasn't even touched him yet? Besides, the opponent has the power of law to protect him. Could it be the aftermath of Borsellino's sword energy? Or his sword law? Neither. The aftermath is unlikely, unless the opponent is a strong man above the God King, who can easily break the power of the law of the lower realm. As for the sword law, this is indeed possible. I heard that sword cultivators at a high level have many mysterious means. This is not the power of the sword law. First stack armor. I am the sword god who controls the sword law. This attack does contain the sword law, but I don't think it is the power of the sword law that caused Feng Liu to be knocked away. It may be caused by the dark red mysterious power. Quote. On the other side, the Phoenix clan territory. A supreme Feng Tianming of the Phoenix clan was also watching this battle. When he saw Feng Liu being knocked away, his heart was bleeding. Although there is the power of rules to protect the Tianzhao list arena from casualties. Even if she is seriously injured, there is the power of rules to heal her wounds, and she will not have any root cause of illness. But this is his precious daughter, and she was beaten to vomit blood by this guy. This guy named Borsellino must not be caught by him. On the battlefield, Feng Liu, who was knocked away by Huang Yuan, spit out a mouthful of blood. Looking at the ground, she was full of fighting spirit. For so long, no one in the same realm has ever beaten her to the point of vomiting blood. She was so excited to have such a strong opponent. Then, she spread her wings again and attacked Kizaru. In the air, a red and blue light passed by like a lightning gust of wind. Seeing this, Kizaru also turned into a light element and fought fiercely with the opponent in the air. In less than a second, the two sides fought hundreds of times. They were as fast as lightning, and their bodies crossed each other and brought gusts of wind. The air around them seemed to be torn apart, making a sharp whistling sound. Others could only see vague figures and flickering lights. They could not capture the specific details of the movements at all, and they just felt dazzled. Well, this battle should be over, Miss Liu. Quote, as soon as the words fell, Kizaru's aura suddenly surged, directly surpassing the realm of the 9th level. At the same time, behind him, a huge throne emitting dazzling golden light appeared without any warning. The throne was shining with dazzling light, as if it could illuminate the whole world. Feng Liu looked at the throne phantom with shock on her face, and opened her mouth to speak. But she was killed in an instant before she could say anything, and the Tianzhao ranking ruled that she was disqualified. The winner of this battle was Borsellino. People from all over the universe also witnessed this historic scene. Originally, Feng Liu, the peerless genius who had been sitting firmly at the top of the Tianzhao list, was defeated at this moment. This news was like a thunderbolt, and it spread throughout the universe in an instant. You know, Feng Liu, who was once the top of the list, is the object of worship and admiration in the hearts of countless people. She is gifted and powerful, and has created many remarkable and brilliant achievements along the way. However, now, another person has emerged, and has reached the top with amazing momentum, becoming the new top of the Tianzhao list. At this moment, everyone in the universe will remember the name of this new top, Borsellino. How is it possible? He is only 58 years old. How can he break through the God King realm? Feng Liu, who just came out of the Tianzhao list, had an expression of disbelief on her face. After all, even she, who was known as the strongest genius in the universe for 10,000 years, could not break through the God King within 100 years. Now someone has broken this record, she will inevitably be shocked. Are you okay, my Liu baby? You are not injured. I didn't expect that guy to be a God King. A 58-year-old God King, what a terrifying talent. Liu, don't be disappointed. The opponent is only temporarily ahead. Maybe you can surpass him later. Feng Tianming spoke to Feng Liu earnestly. It's okay, father. I just lost because I am not as skilled as others. You don't need to comfort me. I am not affected by this. Feng Liu showed a fighting spirit. She became interested in Borsellino. Next time she fights, she will definitely defeat the opponent. Feng Tianming looked at his daughter like this and felt relieved. In the vast universe, because of the change of the first place on the Tianzhao list, the whole universe was boiling. On the Universe Network, the spectators were discussing this incident crazily. Do you know, a fierce man came to the Tianzhao list of 100-year-olds. He passed the Tianzhao list in 2 days. Even Feng Liu, who broke through the 8 Forbidden at the age of 50 and occupied the Tianzhao list for 50 years, was defeated by him. I know this. I was at the live broadcast that day. In the end, the Tianzhao named Borsellino actually used the throne of the God King realm. Is it true? Can anyone really break through the God King within 100 years? Even the goddess Liu can't do it. Of course it's true. Many people saw this scene at the time. Wow, this is really a genius. Sure enough, the gap between species is too big. Others are God Kings before they are less than 100 years old, but I am a God King at 20,000 years old. Alas. Don't be so self-deprecating. A 20,000-year-old God King is also very strong. I broke through the God King after 80,000 years, and I relied on a spiritual medicine to prolong my life. Broken. Didn't you find this Tianzhao's personality very interesting? He called me scary and kicked me as a 7 forbidden Tianzhao. Why do I feel like he is an office worker who likes to slack off? I envy him for his calmness. No matter what he did before, now even the 10 supreme races are openly recruiting him. As long as he joins any supreme race, the resources for practicing to the supreme are probably guaranteed. Is he so arrogant? He has the resources to practice to the supreme. I envy him. By the way, what is this blue planet? It can actually give birth to such a Tianzhao. Is this a planet in the central region? Why don't I have any impression of it? The human race in the universe. At this moment, the entire human race is also extremely proud of Huang Yuan's top spot on the Tianzhao list. They didn't expect that they would see the first place on the Tianzhao list born in their human race in their lifetime. What an honor. On the other side, in the meeting room of the human race's high-level officials. They were so busy at this time that even with the Supreme, they still couldn't find the blue planet where Kizaru was. After all, the universe is too big. In addition to their 5 major star regions, there are also many galaxies, and in these many galaxies, there are countless planets. Even the Supreme can't find a planet accurately in the universe. I decided to use that item to find the whereabouts of Borsellino. After all, it's not just our race that is looking for him now, but all races in the universe are looking for him. In addition to recruiting, some of them are here with bad intentions. We must protect this genius as soon as possible. Quote. In the meeting room, a human supreme said solemnly. After hearing this, the other supremes fell into a brief thought. After a while, the human high level held a vote. Finally, the party with more votes agreed to use the item to find the whereabouts of the other party. The meeting came to a temporary end. At the same time, other races were also looking for the whereabouts of Blue Star. There is no mark on any star field or galaxy here. How can I find it? There are so many planets called Blue Star. My friend Borsellino, if you are willing to join our dragon clan, we will give you the most generous treatment. In addition to the resources to break through to the Supreme, you can also combine with our dragon clan's Tianzhao girl. If you are willing, please add me on the Cosmic Network. Humph, what is your dragon clan? Our 9-tailed fox clan also has the same treatment as you, and our Tianzhao girl is much more beautiful than you, Borsellino. Mr. Nuo also invited our 9-tailed fox clan. Quote. Are these slutty 9-tailed clan members qualified to seduce our guests from the elf clan? Mr. Borsellino, please invite our elf clan. We will offer you 10 times the treatment of these 2 families. The universe is full of troubles about Kizaru. And our instigator Kizaru just logged off after receiving the reward. He returned to the original secret realm as soon as he logged off. At this time, Zhang Yan had been waiting here for a long time. He couldn't help but be ecstatic when he noticed the changes in the rules of Blue Star. Ha ha ha. God bless our human race, this genius actually successfully entered the top 100,000 of the prodigy list. He wants to meet this genius. Excuse me, my friend, are you the genius who entered the prodigy list? Quote. Zhang Yan was a little surprised to see Huang Yuan appear. After he carefully looked at Huang Yuan, he was dumbfounded. The shadow of the throne. Is this a powerful God King? For a moment, Zhang Yan fell into deep thought. No, buddy. Breakthrough to God King under 100 years old. You are playing speed pass. But he reacted soon and looked at the other party with excitement. So it's you, fellow Taoist. Let me introduce myself. I am Zhang Yan, a former fire god king. Quote. Huang Yuan looked at the old man who suddenly appeared with some surprise. Is this the master of the sky secret realm? Afterwards, Zhang Yan told Huang Yuan what happened more than 300 years ago. And what the other party had done for the human race in these years. Huang Yuan was a little skeptical, but combined with the clues of Blue Star now. It seems to be just as the other party said. Besides, he is not afraid that the other party is lying. After all, he is now a God King. To kill a God King's residual soul is just a matter of raising your hand. Okay, thank you for listening to me for so long. Now that this planet is safe, I can finally seek revenge on that fool. Zhang Yan looked relieved, then his face turned gloomy. Obviously, he still couldn't forget the sneak attack of that fool more than 300 years ago. Kizaru didn't stop him, but he could help him. Then, he used his light healing ability to heal all the injuries on Zhang Yan's soul. Zhang Yan was ecstatic again when he saw this. He didn't expect that all the injuries on his soul would be healed. It was this junior who helped him heal. He felt guilty. Immediately, Zhang Yan wanted to kowtow to Kizaru to thank him. Thank you, fellow Taoist. I have no way to repay your kindness. I am willing to serve you at my best. No need to be polite, Mr. Zhang. If you hadn't used your own power to revive the spiritual energy of Blue Star, there would not have been a genius like me. Yellow Ape helped him up with a smile. Mr. Zhang, you don't need to be so self-deprecating. Blue Star still needs you. Hearing this, Zhang Yan was a little touched. For so many years, he has been immersed in the regret of that time. Because he failed to guard against Leng Bingning's sneak attack, he fell on Blue Star. After the spiritual energy of Blue Star was revived, I don't know how many people of the human race died in these years. After cultivating a few good seedlings with great difficulty, the guys of the angel race want to occupy it again. He really tried his best over the years. Thank you for your kindness, I will make Blue Star better. Zhang Yan also smiled at this moment, as if he had seen the prosperity of Blue Star in the future. On the other side, in Hesse's private palace. At this time, he looked at the report about Blue Star from his men. His face looked particularly relaxed. It was great that we could harvest faith now. Although there were not many faiths at the beginning, we had only harvested a small piece of land. The most populous Asian continent on Blue Star was not moved at all. I just wonder how much faith it can produce. I am really looking forward to it. Thinking of this, Hesse decided to go there in person. After all, showing one's holiness in front of others would gain the most faith. When they built their own statues, there would be a steady stream of faith. Blue Star, Eyre Island. This was originally Isabelline's territory. However, not long ago, a group of birdmen in silver-white clothes came here. They called themselves angels, sent by God to save these people. At first, some strong men wanted to resist, but they were like a mantis trying to stop a chariot under their powerful strength. Even the strongest man here, Isabelline, had chosen to surrender. Finally, the angels successfully occupied this place. Afterwards, many landmark buildings here were replaced by statues of Hesse. They also required the residents here to kowtow in front of these statues every morning. Those who do not abide by this rule will undoubtedly be regarded as believers of the evil sect and suffer the horrifying death penalty, burning at the stake. Why is there less and less faith recently? How can I explain this to that Lord? Have you found out the reason? In the Platinum Palace, an angel bishop asked the people below. We found out the reason. This is because several other pieces of our territory were occupied by unknown dragon creatures, and the angels guarding there were also killed by the other party. Under the stage, an angel reported the situation to the bishop. The bishop was furious when he heard this. They dared to kill their angels and rob their angels' territory. He wanted to take the angels to seek revenge on the other party. Unfortunately, there is no time at the moment. Not long ago, he learned that the Lord was coming down. He had to prepare for this and march to the Eurasian continent. Let the 5 dragons deal with the other party first. The other party should be just a small minion with some strength. Now our goal is the Eurasian continent. We must occupy that place before the Lord comes and present it to the Lord as a gift. When the Lord was mentioned, the bishop's face immediately showed a wave of piety that was difficult to conceal. His originally solemn face now looked even more respectful and humble, as if the Lord was the supreme existence in his heart. The rest of the angels standing below were no exception. Their expressions were exactly the same. Everyone's eyes flashed with admiration and respect. The whole scene was filled with a solemn and sacred atmosphere, which moved people. At the same time, on the other side, in a medium-sized city within the Federation, their top leaders are quietly staging a thrilling mutiny. What are you doing, Lin Ran? Are you doing this to violate the Federation? In the high-level meeting room, the city lord Nangong and shouted angrily at a young man. Just now, for some reason, the deputy city lord named Lin Ran actually publicly wanted their Ren city to submit to the Tianshan cult at the meeting. What an international joke. The Tianshan cult was just a few days ago. A cult was born, They call themselves angels, messengers sent by God to save everyone. But their true identity is to let monsters attack the city. Then at the critical moment, they appear as saviors to save everyone. Finally, they occupy the city in the name of God. And the other party is suspected to have a method called Holy Light that can be used to brainwash everyone. This makes it easy for them to quell the civil unrest. This sect was wanted by the Federation not long after it appeared. As important members of the Federation, how could they surrender to the wanted criminals of the Federation? I didn't violate the Federation. Lin Ran looked at Nangong and calmly. I'm just looking for a better future. The power of the celestial god cult is far beyond our imagination. Joining them is our only way out. Nonsense. Nangong and slammed the table and stood up. They are just a group of lunatics. For the so-called power of faith, they actually led monsters into the city to slaughter and used these false miracles to confuse the people. In response, Lin Ran's mouth corners slightly raised. But those who died were just insignificant ants, and they have nothing to do with us. You don't have to worry about the Federation's future reckoning. After all, the strength of the heavenly god religion is far stronger than the Federation. At this time, the door of the conference room was roughly pushed open. A soldier rushed in and reported breathlessly, "City Lord, it's not good. A large number of monsters were found outside the city, and they are rushing towards us." Nangong An's face changed drastically. This must be a conspiracy of the heavenly god religion. Lin Ran laughed. It seems that the opportunity has come. He looked at other senior executives. Everyone, what are you still hesitating about? There was silence in the conference room, and some senior executives began to exchange glances, obviously a little tempted. This is your good work, right? Lin Ran, you actually joined the heavenly god religion and led monsters into the city. Don't you consider the lives of the people at all? Nangong and looked at Lin Ran indignantly. Then, a powerful pressure broke out on him. He is the strongest person in this city, an emperor in the late 8th stage. Alas, you are such a stubborn old man, you have to force me to do it, right? Lin Ran did not take Nangong An seriously at all. Then, a golden force appeared in his hand. In an instant, Nangong An's pressure was completely eliminated. Is this the power of true meaning? How could you have it? Aren't you only in the early 8th stage? Nangong An was sweating as he looked at this power. He knew how terrifying the power of true meaning was. The senior executives also looked at the power in the other party's hand with their eyes wide open. At this moment, they already had a plan in mind. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.